Chapter 1675. After Etion arranged everything, he did not choose to stay in the Three Realms God domain to inspect. He believed that they would definitely be able to do it well, and it would definitely exceed the effect he needed. He had always been at ease with their work, so there was no need to inspect, nor was there a need to stay here to supervise. Moreover, with Shi Shuiyun here, she understood his heart and naturally knew what he needed. What he needed to do now was to frantically break through his cultivation as fast as he could. He had to break through to the heavenly god stage before the battle between the god emperors. Not only did he have to break through to the heavenly god stage, he also had to have a large amount of resources to provide for the Three Realms God domain. The resources needed to set up the time formation on a large scale would definitely be astronomical. Thus, if he stayed in the Three Realms God domain, no matter how many resources he had, they would be used up. For this reason, he had to come out and search for more resources. Resources were definitely not something that he could dig himself. He did not know how long it would take to gather enough resources, especially since there was not only one type of resource, there were also many materials that he needed. What was the fastest way to get resources? Naturally, it was by robbing. Nothing was faster than snatching. He naturally would not go to the god domain to snatch them, but to eradicate the evil spirit race. Snatching from the hands of the evil spirit race was undoubtedly the best way. Not only could he eliminate the evil spirit race, he could also obtain resources. It was simply killing two birds with one stone. The area that Etion was heading to was not the hiding spot of the evil spirit race, but the barrier area. He wanted to take a look at the situation of the barrier. At the same time, there were actually quite a few evil spirit race near the barrier. He could start from here now, and even get a coordinate near the barrier, so that he could come over at any time in the future. The location of the barrier was naturally at the edge of the 5th grade god domain. Before coming to the 5th grade god domain, most cultivators thought that this world was boundless. In reality, there were boundaries. Whether it was Fanyu or the god domain, there were boundaries. It was just that Fanyu's limit was relatively far, so it was very difficult for anyone to fly to the barrier area. After all, Fanyu's cultivation was relatively low, and there were not many who could fly. Normally, they would not fly there. There was no point in flying to the barrier. There were many powerhouses in the god domain, and they could often fly to the barrier region. The evil spirit race came from this barrier. As for Fanyu's barrier, there was no evil spirit race that could pass through. As for what was on the other side of the barrier, no one knew. However, they only needed to know one thing: the barrier against a Grade 5 God realm. When Etion arrived at the Grade 5 God domain, he also saw many God domains that had been destroyed. The aftereffects of the battle between God Emperors also existed in the Grade 5 God domain. He followed the map that Huan Mingyue had given him and passed through many damaged God territories. Along the way, he occasionally saw experts passing by. However, they only glanced at each other for a moment before leaving. They didn't try to stop him. If someone intercepted him and robbed him, he would not hesitate to rob the other party. Although it was not the evil spirit race, he would not be courteous to those ruthless people. With a fat sheep delivering itself to his doorstep, why would he stand on ceremony? However, none of them stopped him. Everyone seemed to have their own mission, flying around as if they were looking for something. Etion glanced at them. Their cultivation was not low. All of them were at the heavenly god level, and the weakest was at the upper heavenly venerable level. In the current chaotic region, without a strong cultivation, one would not dare to come out casually. As a Grade 5 god domain, they naturally had more information than a Grade 4 god domain. Therefore, they already knew about the situation of the evil spirit race. However, they did not know what actions they would take. However, there was one thing that was quite ironic. Those who had the evil spirit's pearl were all Grade 4 god domains. The Fecta god domain was considered a Grade 5 god domain. The other two god domains were Grade 4 god domains. Compared to Grade 5 god domains, their protection was naturally much weaker. It was not that they deliberately chose the weaker god domains to protect. Rather, the cultivation god domain was not weak to begin with. It was a Grade 5 god domain. However, as time passed, it gradually declined to the level of a Grade 4 god domain. Because Yuelong's god domain was more hidden, choosing a grade 4 god domain was also more low-key. However, Yuelong's god domain was very strong. It was very close to a grade 5 god domain. Grade 5 god domain Etienne did not go to visit them. It was not good to visit anyone at this time. Who knew if there would be any traitors in these grade 5 god domains? Moreover, he was not interested. Right now, he just wanted to snatch resources and increase his cultivation. It was that simple. After passing through many god domains, he soon arrived near the barrier area. The barrier area was very empty. There was nothing, not to mention planets. There was not even a small piece of rock. This place seemed rather empty, making him wonder if he had gone the wrong way. However, as he continued forward, he soon knew that he had not gone the wrong way. After flying for a short distance, he immediately saw a huge crystal wall. It was all stacked together, forming a thick wall. Its height was very limited. It was at most a few hundred feet tall, but its width could not be seen. This was the barrier that separated the evil spirit race from the outside. Rather than calling it a barrier, it looked more like a huge patch that filled up the entrance. It was undoubtedly more appropriate to describe it this way. He turned his head to look at both sides, but did not see any evil spirit race, nor did he see any evil spirit race coming out. He quickly flew to the front of the barrier and reached out his hand to gently climb on it. He immediately felt an extremely compressed energy transmitted from his fingers. This gave him a feeling that it was indestructible. Even a peak heavenly god would not be able to damage it at all. Crystal barrier, able to block the attacks of powerhouses. Even a peak heavenly god would not be able to easily destroy it. However, after a long period of damage, it would still be broken through. However, it would be extremely difficult and would take a very long time. The appraisal, I listed the corresponding information, letting Etienne know that this was not absolutely invincible. It could still be destroyed. The principle of this crystal barrier was very simple. It was very hard, and there was not a single weak spot. Even if a single attack was made, the rest of the energy would quickly fill in and repair the damaged area. Therefore, it was not a problem to destroy this barrier, but the prerequisite was that the entire barrier had to be destroyed before they could enter from the other side. Of course, nothing was absolute. If it was really that absolute, there would not be any evil spirit race coming over from that side. The crystal barrier had cracks. After being destroyed for a long time, small cracks would appear from time to time. Chapter 1676. There were still loopholes in such a shocking barrier. However, it was already very good to have such an effect. It was better than coming over easily. Apart from that, the Heaven Creator race would come over to remove the barrier and open a small hole for the evil spirit race to come in. This was the easiest. They didn't need to destroy the barrier or wait for a crack to appear. They could come over easily. This crystal barrier was made by the Heaven Creator race, so it was naturally controlled by them. After touching it for a while, Etienne was just about to fly to other areas to see how wide the barrier was when two figures suddenly appeared near him. He quickly raised his head and saw that two intermediate heavenly gods had appeared near him. They looked very aggressive. Each of them was wearing sturdy armor and had heavenly gods' spiritual treasures all over their bodies. They looked like real gods of war. When they saw Etienne, they were stunned. One of them shouted at him, "Why are you so close to the barrier? Hurry up and leave." From their words, there was no doubt that they were the experts in charge of this area. Most of the grade 5 divine realms were still abiding by their duties and helping to guard the crystal barrier. If the evil spirit race came out, the grade 5 divine realms would definitely be the first to suffer. If they didn't care, the evil spirit race would wreak havoc here. When that happened, their disciples would definitely suffer when they went out to train. Thus, regardless of whether they were willing or not, they had to guard this place obediently. Sai, don't be so rash. Little brother, this isn't a safe place. We don't know which organization you're from, but it's not good to wander around here. An intermediate heavenly god reached out to stop his companion, indicating that he should not be so serious. His attitude was undoubtedly much better than the one beside him. The heavenly god beside him couldn't be bothered with Etienne anymore. He had already been warned, but whether he listened or not was another matter. Seniors, I'm just an itinerant cultivator. I heard that there was a situation here, so I came to take a look. Speaking of which, do the evil spirit race often appear here? Etianyan asked. So what if there is the evil spirit race? Are you going to guard this place? The heavenly god beside him grumbled unhappily. He felt that Etianyan was talking nonsense. Heaven god Shui, don't be so rash. Calm down. Isn't it just that you've been a little unhappy lately? Is there a need to do this? The god beside him tried to persuade him. God Mang, how can I be happy? I loathe these loose cultivators the moment I see them. And there are even loose cultivators who want to dig through the crystal barrier. They're just idiots. I've never seen anyone so foolish as to want to dig through the crystal barrier. It's a good thing they can't dig it out. If they could, it would be serious. I don't know what's in their heads. Don't they know the consequences if the crystal barrier is broken? Shui Tian was very dissatisfied with Shui Tian's nagging. He vented all the things he had encountered before, which made even Yi Tianyan feel that he couldn't bear it anymore. Of course, it wasn't that he couldn't tolerate heavenly god Shui, but he couldn't tolerate those vagrant cultivators who had come to dig up the crystal barrier. Although he was a rogue cultivator, he still knew a lot of information, especially about the crystal barrier. How could he not know about the evil spirit race? That was obviously impossible. He must have felt that the crystal barrier was very valuable and wanted to take it away. Or he might have felt that there was an extremely high amount of energy inside the crystal barrier and wanted to dig it back to cultivate. Fortunately, the crystal barrier couldn't be dug away. Otherwise, it would really be completely dug out. Such selfish cultivators were not in the minority. In fact, there were quite a lot of them. Senior, I wouldn't do such a thing. I'm just here to take a look. If I see any evil spirit race, I'll eliminate them. Etianyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. No wonder heavenly god Shui was so arrogant. How could he not be arrogant after seeing that he was a vagrant cultivator? Etianyan didn't have any insignia on him, but the two of them had corresponding insignia. It was a long sword, indicating that they were heavenly gods of the Jianfeng divine realm. Yi Tianyan had a very good impression of the Jianfeng divine realm. After all, the Jianfeng divine realm was on the blacklist. This immediately made him have a good impression of the Jianfeng divine realm. To be on the blacklist of the evil spirit race, they must have done many things to exterminate the evil spirit race. They were naturally on the same side as him. Heavenly god Shui, see? I told you not to be so arrogant. Not all vagrant cultivators are like this. Heavenly god Meng looked on with gratification. Etianyan, there was finally a reasonable vagrant cultivator. Who can say for sure? Heavenly god Shui's tone softened a little. All right, you've always been so stubborn, Heavenly god Meng said to Etianyan with a smile. No matter what you think, this place is still quite dangerous. The evil spirit race doesn't appear as crazily as before. However, there will still be evil spirit race here, and they're the stronger ones. It's quite dangerous for you to appear here with your cultivation. I understand, I'm just taking a look, Etianyan said with a smile. If I'm discovered and I can't beat them, I still know how to escape. Escape? Do you think you can escape so easily? Any random heavenly god evil spirit would be enough to kill you. Heavenly god, Shui retorted. Etianyan was only an early-stage upper, heavenly venerable on the surface, so people would naturally think that he was weak. All right, that's enough. Heavenly god Mang was a rather calm person, and he gestured for his companion to not be so impulsive. At the same time, he said to Etianyan with a smile, Little brother, don't mind us. How about this? We're here to patrol. If you're interested, do you want to patrol with us? Heavenly god Mang, you wanted to patrol with us? Heavenly god, Shui asked in confusion. Is there a problem? This little brother also wants to take responsibility, the responsibility to protect this place. Are you saying that I'm not allowed to? Heavenly god Mang said with a smile. Did you forget what the Sword Edge Region Lord said? We can only defeat the evil spirit race if we work together. Sword Edge Region Lord. Heavenly god Shui fell silent for a moment before turning to Etianyan and said, Don't be too slow. We're in charge of a large area. If you encounter a powerful evil spirit race, just hide to the side, understand? Heavenly God Shue's mouth was a little poisonous, but he was a good person. I understand. Tianyan smiled and didn't mind. Anyone would be furious. Heavenly God Shue had seen many wandering cultivators come to dig the crystal barrier. So how could he be nice to wandering cultivators? Heavenly God Mang's attitude was good, and he felt that he was quite amiable. As expected, different cultivators had different attitudes. Chapter 1677. Tianyan followed them out on patrol. They didn't see any evil spirit tribe members along the way, so they chatted happily. Initially, God Shue was a little biased against Tianyan, but he became more enthusiastic after the discussion. Kid, I really admire your way of thinking. It would be great if all the wandering cultivators could think like you. But I've seen so many wandering cultivators trying to steal this crystal barrier. It's too selfish of them to dig this crystal barrier and bring it back to cultivate. God Shue cursed. The news of the crystal barrier has already spread far and wide. Many people in the 5th grade and even the 4th grade regions know about it. Even the 4th grade regions would have heard about it if they could come here, but they still chose to do so. That's really too unreasonable. Fortunately, the crystal barrier isn't something that can be dug out just because you want to. Alright, I also remember that there was a wandering cultivator who was meditating here and wanted to directly absorb the crystal barrier. Just looking at him pisses me off. After I taught him a good lesson, I threw him to a certain planet. Heavenly God Shue's mouth continued to chatter like a chatterbox. He didn't have so many prejudices after getting to know each other. Isn't that for sure? If this world is invaded by the evil spirit tribe, then everything will be over. The evil spirit tribe is extremely cruel. Anyone who isn't one of their clansmen will be listed as targets to be devoured. Tianyan joined in the conversation. Of course, they don't know the situation of the evil spirit tribe. Relying on the evil spirit tribe is simply courting death. Who would believe the evil spirit tribe's bullsh***? But there are really a lot of idiots who believe the evil spirit tribe's bullsh***. God Shue shook his head helplessly. Wait, there's movement up ahead. God Mang was just about to join in the conversation when he suddenly stopped and signaled for them to be quiet. Tianyan focused his gaze and looked ahead. Upon closer inspection, there was indeed a small crack on the crystal barrier. It looked extremely strange. It's a crack, and it's a new crack, God Mang said with a serious expression. Prepare for battle and request reinforcements. Not only did Heaven God Mang's expression turn serious, but even Heaven God Shue's expression turned serious. At the same time, he quickly took out a communication jade pendant and crushed it without hesitation. The two of them were intermediate heavenly gods, yet they immediately chose to crush the moment they saw a crack. Without a doubt, this was an extremely big situation. It was possible that there were other powerful evil spirit races in the surroundings. How could his companions not be there to receive him? Little brother, hurry up and fly back. The further the better. Heaven God Shue gestured for him to leave quickly and not stay here any longer. I also want to stay here and fight. Tianyan's expression was calm. This was exactly the kind of battle he needed, and he just happened to run into it. At the same time, he could also see how they got out. Kid, be rational. Soon, their companions will sense this aura and come over. If you don't escape now, it'll be too late. Their cultivations are all above the heavenly god level. Heavenly God Shue grabbed his shoulder and said, "It's not easy to find a reasonable wandering cultivator. Once the battle is over, we'll drag you out for a drink. So, you can't die." Heavenly God Shue's cultivation was a level higher than his, but they didn't put on airs. They felt like old friends at first sight with Tianyan and wanted to befriend him. The main reason was that wandering cultivators were all idiots recently, which made him very unhappy. Tianyan's way of thinking was to his liking, so he would naturally treat him well. All right then, Tianyan pondered for a moment, then nodded at them and turned to leave. The two of them looked at each other and didn't rush over immediately. Instead, they hid at the side. There were cracks on the crystal barrier, but they weren't the Heaven Creator race and couldn't repair the barrier. Thus, they could only hide at the side and wait for reinforcements to arrive. Then, they would rush over together and get rid of all these trash. This was their mission. Not only was it to patrol, but it was also to immediately inform their companions when there was a situation and deal with it together. If there were only a few evil spirit races, they wouldn't have called for their companions, but it was different when there was a crack. Then, they quietly hid at the side and gradually disappeared into the corner. As for Tianyun, he didn't leave. Instead, he entered the void and used the 5 dragon divine boots to infiltrate more thoroughly. His concealment ability was even better than Heavenly God Shui and the others. In terms of concealment power, there was no power that could compare to the power of the void. Hiding in another world was much better than blending in with the surrounding world. He didn't rush over. Instead, he hid at the side and stared at the crack. As time passed, the crack gradually expanded. Then, thick black energy surged in from the other side, as if forming a bridge for the evil spirit race to cross over. However, the crystal barrier started to flicker continuously, and the original crack started to repair bit by bit. However, the black energy on the other side was even more astonishing. It furiously widened the crack, and for a moment, it was in a deadlock. It was extremely difficult to repair this side, but the other side couldn't come over either. After a while, pitch-black figures appeared from the void. They were all evil spirit race gods, and even the weakest of them was a lesser heavenly god. They were dressed completely differently. Compared to ordinary evil spirit race gods, they were dressed in pitch-black clothes. They looked like some kind of guard, or rather, they looked like some kind of mysterious force. When they appeared, the surroundings were filled with killing intent. Black energy quickly emitted from their bodies. Following that, they all awakened one after another, erupting with their strongest power. This energy all fused together and transformed into an extremely sharp black spear, heavily piercing through the crack. Then, he quickly pried it to the side, wanted to pry open the crack a little bit. Under normal circumstances, the crystal barrier would be able to sweep in the surrounding energy and fill in the gap. But it was different now. There were many cracks, and they were originally empty, so it was relatively slow to heal. This gave the evil spirit race a chance to take advantage of. What a powerful force. No wonder they said that they were requesting for reinforcements. When Tianyun saw this scene, he felt the pressure increase. There were 15 heavenly gods in this group. After they joined forces, their strength increased by several levels. How could the two of them deal with them? They would directly become cannon fodder. Under the situation of working together from the inside and outside, the crack started to be pried open bit by bit, and more black energy started to surge out from inside. From the looks of it, the evil spirit race was about to enter. Chapter 1678. Heaven God Shui and the others stared at the crack. Tianyun also stared at it from the side. They were very nervous, but they didn't dare to move at all. Heaven God Shui and the others wanted to stab them in the back so that they could break their formation. But if they did that, they would definitely be discovered, and they would be completely wiped out before reinforcements arrived. 15 heavenly gods against 2 heavenly gods. One didn't even need to think to know what the result would be. At the same time, these 15 Empyrean spirits all had high cultivation bases. Even though they were lesser Empyrean gods, they were still a level stronger than ordinary Empyrean spirits. Tianyun felt a strange energy from their bodies. It was as if they had been imbued with a power similar to that of evil spirits, which greatly strengthened them. Therefore, ordinary lower heavenly gods would lose for sure if they faced them. Unless they had some kind of treasure, they might be able to win this battle. If they didn't have any advantage, they would definitely be beaten up by the other party. There was a reason why Heaven God Shui and the others didn't dare to act recklessly. They must have felt the power of these heavenly gods, which was why they didn't dare to act recklessly. As this group of heavenly gods pried open the crack, a small opening appeared in the crack. Compared to before, it was only a little bit wider, and it could be described as a hair's width. It was really too small. Judging from the naked eye, there was basically no change in appearance. However, just by opening such a small opening, a gust of black chi gushed out from within, and it was much faster than before. Soon, after waves of black energy surged in, it quickly condensed and formed a complete evil spirit race. The evil spirit race that appeared was not the same. It should be said that it was similar to this special batch of evil spirits in front of them. They were slightly different from ordinary evil spirits. This was like the difference between ordinary mortals and cultivators. All of them had different temperaments and bloodlines. This meant that those that came in were all evil spirits with rich bloodlines. However, their cultivation levels weren't high, only at the Earth Lord level. Perhaps too high, a level couldn't pass through this crack at all. The difficulty was too high. Hurry up and help. Heaven God Shwe and the others were extremely anxious. They didn't want to watch the evil spirit race run away. That meant that many more evil spirits were coming. However, as the evil spirit race came in one after another, their reinforcements still did not arrive. When an evil spirit race came in, his body was not black, but purple. When Yun saw the purple body of the evil spirit race, he was immediately startled. He could feel that the purple body of the evil spirit race possessed a very strong mental power. Sure enough, as soon as the purple evil spirit race appeared, it turned its head and stared in the direction of heavenly God Shwe and the others. Then he pointed to the side and said in a deep voice, "There are enemies hiding there." This purple evil spirit race's cultivation was not high. It was only at the level of the Lord of Heaven. It was slightly higher than the previous one. However, even though he only had the cultivation of the Lord of Heaven, he could easily see through the concealment of a heavenly God. This kind of ability caused even Yun to be greatly shocked. Under normal circumstances, it was almost impossible to do this, but this purple evil spirit race was able to do it to this extent, easily seeing through it. After pointing it out, the group of evil spirit race turned their heads and looked over, their eyes bursting with shocking killing intent. Almost without any hesitation, 8 of the evil spirit race quickly separated, while the remaining 7 continued to maintain the spear. However, its power was much weaker, but it seemed like it could still be maintained. The 8 evil spirit races' actions were completely in unison, and they all rushed towards Heavenly God Shwe. Heavenly God Shwe's was exposed, but Yun's was not. The direction they were hiding in was completely different. Damn it, what the hell is that thing? It can actually see through our hiding spot? Heavenly God Shwe and the others cursed angrily, then turned around and fled. They did not plan to fight with these 8 evil spirit race. As they fled, their hidden figures were immediately exposed. The 2 of them quickly flew towards their own divine domain. This way, they should be able to meet up with their teammates very quickly. At that time, if they joined forces with their opponents, they would be able to intercept and kill these evil spirit race. However, reality is always cruel. These 8 evil spirit races were like twins, and they quickly joined forces to form a huge evil spirit. With all their might, they stepped on the void and closed the distance between them at an astonishing speed. In just a short while, Heavenly God Shwe and the others were caught up by a large margin. They were only a short distance away from being caught up. Too abnormal, this group of people is really abnormal. No wonder they said that we absolutely can't fight them. This time, we're doomed. We can only fight them head-on. Yes, we can only fight them head-on. This time, it was Mang Tion's turn to have very few people left. Neither of them revealed despair in their eyes. Instead, they had raging fighting spirit. Since they were going to die anyway, why not fight to the death? Perhaps they could drag a few of them down with them. Immediately, the 2 of them quickly turned around and immediately summoned their own treasures. However, they only had 1 lower heavenly God spirit treasure, and the rest were all heavenly venerate spirit treasures. After summoning them, they roared loudly and pounced towards the evil spirits, preparing to fight them head-on. Boom! 2 against 8. The huge evil spirits waved their fists and smashed down heavily, sending the 2 flying and injuring them. It was clear who was superior. When they joined forces, their strength was too strong. They were even stronger than those alliance grand formations. Perhaps this was the real joint formation, as if they were truly one. So strong. The 2 of them coughed a few times and even coughed up blood. However, they quickly adjusted their state and prepared to fight again. Troublemakers die. The evil spirits that had transformed into evil spirits roared in a hoarse voice. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in front of them again and fiercely waved a few times, exchanging blows with them again. Boom, boom. This time, the evil spirits were sent flying slightly, but Heavenly God Shui and Heavenly God Mang's situation was exaggerated. Half of their bodies were blasted away, but they quickly recovered. However, it would still take some time for them to fully recover. However, they didn't have that much time to prepare. In the next instant, the evil spirits that had transformed into evil spirits charged over and aimed their fists at Heavenly God Shui. As long as they were hit, they would definitely be smashed into a bloody mist. It's over. Heavenly God Shui smiled bitterly. He couldn't even hold his weapon firmly, so how could he block, let alone escape? At this moment, an afterimage pierced through the back of the evil spirits. Accompanied by a flash of silver light, the huge body of the evil spirits was split into several pieces. The evil spirits that had united inside were all repelled, and 2 of them were directly killed. Such a joint formation was instantly broken. Heavenly God Shui, didn't you say you would invite me for a drink? You can't go back on your word. Chapter 1679. Yi Tianyun's appearance stunned them. How could an upper-level heavenly venerable be so powerful? That was a joint formation. Unless one was an upper-level heavenly god, it would be very difficult to deal with it. However, Yi Tianyun had broken it and killed 2 heavenly gods. Although their cultivation levels were relatively low, they were still celestial gods. After all, Yi Tianyun was only an upper-level heavenly venerable, yet he was able to kill heavenly gods. It was truly unbelievable. It's you? Heavenly God Shui was still very shocked after he came back to his senses. Even Heavenly God Mang was shocked. The person who had been patrolling with them before had such astonishing strength and even saved Heavenly God Shui. Don't be me. Let's take advantage of the fact that their formation is broken and quickly exterminate them. As soon as he said that, Yi Tianyun quickly put on the voodoo wood divine set and immediately buffed them with super strong healing power. With this super strong healing power, their recovery speed was astonishing, and they returned to normal in the blink of an eye. Although there were still some injuries that had yet to recover, this was not a big problem. The 2 of them didn't say anything else and immediately charged over. Since the evil spirit race was scattered, it was undoubtedly easier to fight. Especially when dealing with those with lower cultivation levels, it would be much easier to deal with them. Yi Tianyun also targeted the evil spirit race with lower cultivation levels and cleaned up the weakest ones first to prevent them from joining forces again and transforming into the evil spirits. He took so long to come out because he wanted to find the weak point of the formation and destroy it in one fell swoop. After finding it, he quickly pierced through it to destroy it in one fell swoop. Now that they were scattered, he began to harvest crazily. He didn't hold back at all. He used his crazy damage mode and his heavenly venerable spirit treasure set. Facing a lower-level heavenly god, it could simply be described as a harvest. Shui Tianxin and the others were shocked when they saw what was going on. This could simply be described as crazy. He was even crazier than them. Such terrifying power was crazily harvesting all the way, and every move was fatal. Heaven God Shui and the others didn't fall behind either. They followed suit and slaughtered their enemies, causing them to be utterly defeated. The evil spirit race, who was continuing to pry open the cracks in the distance, saw that they might not be able to persevere any longer. Without any hesitation, they stopped prying open the cracks and turned to attack. If this went on, their companions would all die. What was the point of prying open this crack? They were completely unable to attend to one thing and lose sight of another. At this time, the number of evil spirit races coming through the crack rapidly decreased. Previously, they could still come one by one, but without the help of this side, they immediately slowed down, and the speed at which the cracks healed increased. However, the evil spirit race that had crawled over quickly escaped with the other evil spirit races. They did not dare to stay here any longer. With such a low cultivation base, even an Empyrean would be crushed. Hence, it was better to escape first. You want to escape? Etienne's eyes narrowed. Just as he was about to chase after the evil spirit race, a group of experts suddenly surged over from the side. From their clothes, he could immediately tell that they were reinforcements from the Jianfeng god territory. They came with a large group of heavenly god powerhouses, at least more than 10 heavenly gods. Without a doubt, they all knew how many experts they would need to send to suppress the crack. It's reinforcements. Shui Tianxin and the others were overjoyed. This way, they would be able to catch all of the evil spirit race in one fell swoop. That's right, we've finally held on until they arrive. Meng Tianxin brandished his weapon, his morale soaring. This time, it was their turn to suppress the other party and not be in a passive state. Let's go. When the evil spirit race saw the reinforcements, they chose to retreat without hesitation. Originally, they wanted to kill Shui Tianxin and the other cultivators and then continue to pry open the crack. Now, it seemed that it was impossible, so they could only retreat. You still want to leave? It won't be that easy. Shui Tianxin and the others roared and chased after them. Their companions who came to support also surrounded them, wanting to stop them. The many evil spirit race gathered again, forming a huge evil spirits and fled forward. At the same time, they also brought the other new evil spirit races and fled forward. Especially the purple evil spirit race. They were listed as targets of protection. This purple evil spirit race must be in an important position, otherwise they would not have been so protected. However, it was not easy for them to escape. Otherwise, all the reinforcements would have come for nothing. The reinforcements that came all surrounded them, and each of them exploded with their strongest power, bombarding them. The evil spirit race could only passively defend. The key for them now was to escape, not stay and fight. They had already achieved their goal, so it was time to escape. Etienne also chased after them, killing the fish that escaped the net. With so many fat sheep, he definitely would not miss it. Even if he did not kill them, he would strengthen them with healing power so that he could obtain experience. His action surprised the other powerhouses of the Jianfeng divine realm. They did not know where a heavenly venerable came from, and he had such a strange ability. Most importantly, his power was not weaker than theirs, which was even more strange. After Shui Tianxin and the others reminded them in advance that they were on the same side, they did not explain too much. Anyway, it was fine as long as they were on the same side. The rest could be discussed after the end. As they chased after them, the evil spirit race's consumption gradually increased, but the army that had turned into evil spirits was still a little unbreakable. Unless Etienne targeted their weakness again, it would be really difficult to stay. But this evil spirits was too fast, so fast that he could not catch up. How could the formation formed by so many heavenly gods easily catch up? Looks like I can only give it my all. I must make that purple evil spirit race stay. Etienne's eyes turned cold. He could see that the purple evil spirit race was very important. If he did not make it stay, it would definitely be a disaster. Then, Etienne said in his heart, "Level up! Ding! Congratulations to player Etienne for successfully breaking through to the middle stage upper heavenly venerable. Ding! Congratulations to player Etienne for successfully breaking through to the late stage upper heavenly venerable." After leveling up twice in a row, his speed increased crazily. The 5 dragon divine boots under his feet emitted a dazzling golden light, as if he was really stepping on a giant dragon, roaring forward. The power of the dragon and phoenix divine meridians bloomed behind him, and his speed increased by several levels, surpassing the heavenly gods next to him, and he chased after the evil spirits. But his speed was still a little slower, or barely at the same level. This speed is too abnormal, isn't it? If I run with all my strength, can I still have this kind of effect? Etienne cursed in his heart. He had leveled up twice in a row, but he still could not catch up. Chapter 1680. Upgrade my bloodline. Successfully upgraded Dragon Phoenix, Divine Vein. Successfully upgraded Koin Peng bloodline. After deducting a lot of crazy point, the 2 bloodlines with amazing speed improved a lot. Originally, they were still behind the speed of the United Evil Spirits, But in the blink of an eye, they caught up and far surpassed the speed of the united evil spirits. Such a terrifying speed made the heavenly gods chasing after them speechless. Obviously, Etianyin has the cultivation of heavenly master, but not only did he leave them far behind, he even caught up with the united evil spirits. In the blink of an eye, Etianyin was already at the back of the united evil god with the 5-dragon divine spear, and once again, he hit the weak spot of the united evil god. Boom! With a flash of silver light, the united evil spirits were pierced again, and this time, several heavenly gods were killed. The main reason is that the evil spirits were scattered. After being scattered, they don't have that much power, and naturally their speed can't go up. After scattering them, Etianyin didn't stop attacking, and instantly aimed at the purple evil spirit. The purple evil spirit was protected by a powerful evil spirit heavenly god, but Etianyin didn't hesitate to attack it. After the upgrade, his combat power has increased a lot, and he crazily threw the spear. 5-dragon roar! 5 dragons roared out, and in the blink of an eye, they arrived in front of the purple evil spirit, and with a single strike, even the evil spirit heavenly god was blasted into pieces. Successfully killed purple evil spirit, obtained 50 compressed EXP, 50 compressed crazy point, 50 compressed sin point. At the same time, obtained purple spirit bloodline, rare. Purple spirit blood, purple spirit bone, purple spirit soul. The EXP is not much. Originally, the level of the Lord of Heaven is relatively low, so the EXP is not that much. But a lot of different materials dropped. It is no longer the simple evil spirit bloodline power, but changed to the purple spirit series. This means that the evil spirit race has a very different bloodline power. Etianyin can't check the situation for the time being. He can only see after the battle is over. You killed Violet Spirit. Empyrean god Val Spirit's eyes were filled with killing intent, and the other Empyrean gods were all staring at Etianyin with murderous intent in their eyes. It was as if they wanted to kill the heretical emperor. That's right, the purple spirit who killed you. Not only did they kill your purple spirit, they even killed your evil emperor. Etianyin snorted coldly, immediately feeling that the purple spirit was very important to them. As for what it was used for, he wasn't too sure. He had to go back and ask Huan Mingyue about this to know what was going on. Kill him, kill him. All of the heavenly spirit gods pounced toward Etianyin as if they had gone insane. They no longer chose to run away. Instead, all of them charged toward Etianyin. He wouldn't kill anyone but Etianyin. However, the Jianfeng Divine Domains experts had already rushed over to support them and were fighting fiercely with them. Although it was still not easy to deal with the evil spirit race without the alliance formation, it was at least much easier than before. With their support, Etianyin didn't feel any pressure at all. Instead, he was able to easily kill the evil spirit race. In particular, he was constantly buffing the cultivators around him with healing powers. Experience points were constantly pouring in, and he was extremely profitable. These were all heavenly gods, so the experience points he obtained were absolutely explosive. If this continued, it wouldn't be difficult at all for him to break through to the heavenly god level. Very quickly, this group of evil spirit race were all eliminated, and not a single one was left. Many of them were injured, and some were on the verge of death, but they were still rescued. Overall, it was a 0 casualty rate. They were all stunned when they calculated this result. To put it bluntly, this was the first time in their history that they had 0 casualties. In the past, they had suffered heavy losses. Even if they won this battle, a few of their people would die, or they wouldn't be able to keep them. Now that they had eliminated this group of evil spirit race beings, it was unbelievable that they still had 0 casualties. This was mainly because Etianyin had broken the other party's formation. Coupled with his terrifying speed and astonishing healing power, it made it extremely easy for them to fight. It's over. It's finally over. For the first time in history, we have won a complete victory. All of the gods were extremely excited, and they could see the ecstasy in each other's eyes. Then, they turned to look at Etianyin. Everything was because of Etianyin's help, which was why there was such an effect. If it wasn't for Etianyin's help, they would have definitely suffered heavy losses and wouldn't have been able to keep all of the evil spirit race here. This time, losing a group of special evil spirit races would definitely cause the evil emperor to feel so much pain that he wanted to die. The Jianfeng Divine Domain would once again be placed on an even higher ranking blacklist. Where did this little brother come from? He's really too strong. I wonder where his master came from? A god flew over and asked. The other gods all flew over and surrounded Yun in a circle, all of them extremely grateful. He's a lone cultivator. God Shui pushed his companion away and looked at Yun with a smile. Little brother, why don't you stop being a lone cultivator? With your ability, you can join our Jianfeng Divine Domain without any pressure. Moreover, I guarantee that you will be able to become a deacon, and it won't be a problem for you to become an elder in the future. God Shui, you had a lot of opinions about Brother Tianyin before, and you even said that lone cultivators are insensible. God Meng revealed God Shui's past with a smile. God Shui's face turned red, and he glared at God Meng. How would I know that a bunch of lone cultivators are like this? How can they be happy? After I found out, my opinion of Brother Tianyin changed greatly. Then, he turned to look at Tianyin and smiled. How about it? Do you want to join our divine domain? The other gods trembled. They didn't expect Tianyin to be a lone cultivator. This was beyond their expectations. If they could rope him in, it would be like a god helping them when they fought in the future. Tianyin scratched his head embarrassedly. Actually, I'm not a lone cultivator, but from my actions, I seem like one. You're not a lone cultivator? Brother Tianyin, then which force do you belong to? God Shui and the others didn't say anything about Tianyin lying to them. Sometimes, it was normal to hide one's identity when they were outside. Have you heard of the Three Realms Divine Domain? Tianyin didn't hesitate to throw out his divine domain. It's time to make friends with him. They were both blacklisted, so who else could he make friends with but the Jianfeng Divine Domain? What? The Three Realms Divine Domain that is blessed by the heavens? Where are you from? They stared at him and immediately knew which divine domain he was from. Tianyin scratched his head embarrassedly and smiled. It seems like my divine domain is quite famous. Chapter 1681. It seemed like the fame of the Three Realms Divine Realm had spread all the way here. This surprised him a little, but it was reasonable. After all, no God Realm cultivator could enjoy such special treatment after ascending from the outer God realms. After receiving the blessings of the heavens, he gained an incomparably tyrannical protective barrier that was comparable to this crystal barrier. This meant that he was practically an invincible existence, and he didn't have to worry about being besieged by the surrounding forces, which made him relatively safe. This made many God realms quite envious. If they could have such a shield, they wouldn't have to worry about stirring up trouble everywhere. If he provoked other forces, they would just hide at home and not dare to come and find trouble with him. However, this exception was only limited to the Three Realms God Realm. The other God realms didn't have such treatment. As such, the Three Realms Divine Domain was quite famous, and its name could be said to have shaken the entire Three Realms Divine Domain. In addition, in the battle just now, even the evil emperor had been flattened, and all of his subordinates had been killed. This caused them to feel incredibly shocked. What kind of concept was the evil emperor? The leader of the evil spirit race had suffered at the hands of the Three Realms Divine Realm. It was simply unimaginable that this was a new divine realm. Oftentimes, newly ascended divine realms would need to go through many years of grinding together before they could develop. Unless one had a powerful backer, they would basically be conquered. This had always been the iron rule. However, the divine realm of the Three Realms had broken this iron law. Their overall strength was not strong, but they were blessed by the heavens, obtaining an incomparably tyrannical barrier that no one could break. This caused the divine realm of the Three Realms to become very famous. However, this kind of fame was not a good one. It could only be said that it was the darling of luck. Without strength, they could only be protected. This kind of reputation would only make the Three Realms God realm seem extremely weak. If he was incomparably powerful, Why would he need the protection of a barrier? This was especially so since they had never heard of any powerhouses appearing in the three realms' divine realm, making a name for themselves in the outside world. This further proved that the three realms' divine realm was extremely weak. Otherwise, why wouldn't there be any experts going out to roam the world? However, there was one event that caused all the god realms to change their view of the three realms' god realm, and that was the battle of the evil emperor. Not only did the evil emperor fail to gain any benefits, but he also lost a large number of heavenly gods. No one knew what was going on with such terrifying strength. No one knew how the divine realm of the three realms did it. But no matter what, they knew very well that the strength of the three realms' god realm was not as simple as the rumors made it out to be. The three realms' god realm was incomparably tyrannical, capable of crushing ordinary grade 4 god realm existences, and on the verge of reaching grade 5 god realm. This was just their imagination. Only the insiders knew that everything was fake. If it weren't for the power of those three cannons, it would have been impossible to achieve such an effect. Of course, it's very famous. The battle with the evil emperor shocked the entire divine realm. Heavenly God Shwe said with relish, "When we first found out about it, we felt very happy. He managed to make evil emperors suffer a setback, so there was no way he would not feel good about it. We want to destroy them, but there's nothing we can do. It's still very satisfying to see a force make them suffer." Our Sword Edge Region Master wishes to meet the Region Master of the Three Realms God Realm. You should know the ruler of the Three Realms Celestial Realm, right? With your strength, no matter how you look at it, you can be ranked at the top of the Three Realms God Realm. They didn't think that Tianyun was a Region Master. In their opinion, a Region Master should be at a higher level, at least above the Heavenly God level. Well, I am the Region Master of the Three Realms God Realm. Tianyun smiled calmly. He didn't say that he wasn't a Region Master. There was nothing to hide about it. It just so happened that he could meet the Region Master of the Three Realms God Realm. You are the Region Master of the Three Realms God Realm? Heavenly God Shwe and the others were stunned as they looked at Tianyun. Are you surprised? Are you thinking that I am above the Heavenly God level? Tianyun exposed their thoughts, making them feel embarrassed. His cultivation was indeed a little low, but his overall strength was astonishing. A little, but Brother Tianyun? No, Tianyun Region Master, you are very strong. Even I can't compare to you. Heavenly God Shwe immediately changed the way he addressed Tianyun, not daring to call him Brother Tianyun. After all, Tianyun led the Three Realms God Realm to defeat the evil emperor. This kind of strength made them feel deep veneration. Only with strength could one win the respect of others. That's fine. Anyway, what else do we need to do now? Tianyun looked around and said, for example, clean up the mess and report back. Yes, yes, yes. I almost forgot that there was such a thing. They finally realized that they had finally won the battle, so they had to report back immediately. As for the crack, it had already been repaired. If it weren't for the cooperation between the two sides, it would have been repaired soon. As for when the crack would appear again, no one knew. Heavenly Cloud Territory Lord, it was all thanks to you that we were able to win this time. Would you like to come to our God realm as a guest? Our Region Master of the Sword Edge region has been wanting to meet you for a long time. Mang Sky God invited. It would be my honor to meet the Region Master of the Sword Edge region. Please lead the way. Tianyun smiled. He had gained a lot from this trip. He could check on the situation here and make friends with the Sword Edge region. Then, they went to the Sword Edge region together. It was quite a distance away from here, separated by several god realms. No wonder the reinforcements were so slow. The distance was a little far, and the god realms were damaged on the way, so they had to take a detour. They could arrive at this speed, so theoretically speaking, it was quite fast. After coming to the Sword Edge region, Tianyun saw another god realm that lived up to its name. The formation formed a long sword, and it seemed like it could strike at any time. The surroundings were also emitting sharp sword auras. If one didn't enter through the entrance, he would have been torn into pieces. Such domineering power made Tianyun realize the power of a 5th grade god realm. However, the Fecta God realm had its own unique characteristics. Each god realm had its own unique characteristics. Under the lead of heavenly god Shwe and the others, they entered without any obstructions. As soon as they entered, a pair of heavenly gods reported their achievements, and the guards exclaimed in surprise. Then, they turned to look at Etion in shock. It seemed that this victory had brought them a lot of excitement. Etion just smiled and didn't say anything. Under the lead of Mang Sky God and the others, they arrived at the Sword Edge Region Master's Divine Palace. Rather than calling it a divine palace, it was more like a spacious area with only a small house in the corner. At this moment, they saw a handsome man wielding a sharp sword, waving it in this spacious area. Every swing of his sword could split the ground in front of him in half. However, the ground quickly healed, and it was no different from before. Chapter 1682. Etion carefully looked at the Jianfeng Domain Lord in the distance. The Jianfeng Domain Lord's whole body was like a sword. It was as if no matter which part of his body, he could create a terrifying sword aura. The Sword Edge Region Master's cultivation was very strong. He had reached the upper celestial god realm. No wonder he was blacklisted. Just this incomparably domineering strength was enough to make the evil spirit race suffer. It was unknown how many evil spirit races had been chopped into several pieces by him within his sword beams. Then I will go and talk to the Region Master now. When Meng Tianxin and the others wanted to go down and talk to the Region Master, Tianyin reached out and stopped them. No need. Let's wait for Jianfeng Domain Lord to finish his cultivation. It would be rude to disturb Jianfeng Domain Lord's cultivation. I will wait here. Tianyin didn't rush to leave. He planned to stay here and watch Jianfeng Domain Lord cultivate. He didn't want to disturb the Region Master's cultivation. Although it was just a simple practice, it was also a kind of cultivation. He might be able to learn something from the practice. Tianyun's words made them respect him. They didn't expect him to be willing to wait. Some Region Masters didn't have much patience. They all wanted to come down and talk instead of waiting. Thank you, Region Master Tianyun. They didn't want to disturb the Region Master either. Although it was okay to go down, it was best to go down after the practice. The Region Master was really one with the sword. He didn't know that there were people outside. He just kept practicing. Every move he made was so perfect. It was the effect of playing with the sword to the extreme. Tianyun enjoyed watching it. He had to admit that the Region Master's mastery of sword skills had reached the peak. It wasn't a powerful sword skill. It was just a very ordinary sword skill. But in his hands, it was perfect. No one knew why he practiced such a sword skill, but it looked so perfect. Why would the Region Master practice such an ordinary sword skill? Tianyun asked. We don't know either. All this while, Domain Lord Sword Sharpness would train once in a while. God Meng explained from the side. Every once in a while? Tianyun looked at the Sword Edge Domain Master. He guessed that this sword technique had some sort of meaning to him. That's right, we did ask, but the Sword Edge Region Master told us that it was for commemoration. Meng Tian God stared at the Sword Edge Domain Master who was still training his sword, and said respectfully, we don't dare to ask any more questions. We don't know what commemoration it is. There were some things that they did not dare to ask. This was a private matter concerning the Sword Edge Region Master, so there was no need to ask. So that's how it is? Tianyun's eyes shone with a strange light as he watched him brandish his sword. He seemed to have read something in this sword technique, but it was just a little. The Sword Edge Region Master didn't spend too much time practicing this set of sword skills. He stopped after a short while. After stopping, the Sword Edge Region Master saw Tianyun and the others standing outside and turned his head to look at them. It seemed like he only noticed them now, but the main reason was that they weren't within his attack range, so the Sword Edge Region Master didn't notice them. Once they entered his sensing range, he would immediately know of their existence. Oh, looks like we have an esteemed guest. The Sword Edge Region Master walked over with a smile. Looks like you are the Region Master of the Three Realms God Realm. I didn't expect you to be so young. You look so young. Your aura is hidden, but I can vaguely feel a special power rising to the sky. This might be your aura. It wasn't surprising that the Sword Edge Region Master knew his identity. When Etion arrived, he had already sent a message to inform the Region Master of the situation. Even if Etion didn't come, the news would have been sent back immediately. The first to know was the Sword Edge Region Master, and he was in a good mood. My aura. Etion looked behind him, but he couldn't see anything. Either the Sword Edge Region Master was playing tricks on him, or he really did see something. However, he still believed that it was the latter. The Sword Edge Region Master wouldn't be fooling people. Some experts could indeed see different things. Even the appraisal, I might not be able to see everything. For example, he couldn't see his opponent's soul. There were also many things that the appraisal I couldn't see. Maybe leveling it up would have some effect. That's right, it's your aura. Everyone's aura is different. For example, God Mang's aura is God Mang. Your aura is a bit blurry. I can't see it clearly. To be honest, you're the second one I can't see through. The Region Master shook his head. The second one? Then who's the first one? Etion asked curiously. It's the Evil Emperor. The Region Master's sword-like eyes revealed traces of coldness. So it's the Evil Emperor. Etion was about to say that he couldn't see through it, but it was the heaven-defying Evil Emperor. The Region Master could only see through his natural elemental ability. Etion had mixed so many bloodlines. How could he see through it? The Evil Emperor had devoured many bloodlines. Plus, he had a heaven-defying ability, so it was normal that he couldn't see through it. Let's not talk about this. Welcome to my place, Region Master. I've been wanting to see you for a long time, but I haven't had the time since I've been too busy. Come over here. It's not good to keep standing here. Let's have a cup of tea. The Region Master waved his hand and signaled him to go to his residence. The other heavenly gods didn't follow him. They all chose to leave. Etion followed them, and when he arrived at the Sword Edge Region Master's residence, he was shocked. It wasn't because the residence was luxurious, but because the walls were full of long swords, and each sword was of a different grade, from very low to very low. However, each sword was full of blood, and no one knew how much blood it had been stained with. These swords, are they all the Sword Edge Region Masters? Etion looked at the swords, and the grades were from low to high, with the highest being Heavenly Venerable Spirit Treasure. Yes, they're all the weapons I've been using since I first started cultivating. However, these old guys can't go to the battlefield, so they can only retreat here. The Region Master looked at the long swords, and his eyes showed a gentle look. It was as if these swords were not his weapons, but his family. Immediately, the Region Master took out a wine cup, poured wine for Etion, and also poured a cup for himself. He didn't put on any airs. His cultivation was much higher than Etion, but he didn't put on any airs. Sword Edge Region Master, this time I came here because I have a request. After taking a sip of the wine, Etion said slowly. Chapter 1683. It was not surprising that the Sword Edge Region Master saw through Etion's intentions. It was not surprising that the Sword Edge Region Master could guess his intentions. After all, how could he be weak to sit in this position? That's right. I came here for an alliance. I didn't think about it before, but now that we have the same goal, it would be great if we could form an alliance. Etion laughed. Since the other was so straightforward, there was no need for him to hide anything. If he could, then he could. If he couldn't, then he couldn't. There was no need to hide. Hiding wouldn't get him any benefits. Instead, it would make him feel disgusted. Actually, that's what I was thinking. When I found out that you killed a bunch of the Evil Emperor's elites and made him suffer, I decided to form an alliance with the Three-Realm Celestial Realm. No matter what the Three-Realm Celestial Realm is like, we must form an alliance. The Sword Edge Region Master's tone was firm. Etion squinted at him and asked in confusion, why? I think the Sword Edge Region Master is not interested in my faction. I have a lot of power. That's right. Other rank 5 celestial realms can do that. What I admire is your ability to make the Evil Emperor suffer. The Sword Edge Region Master's eyes turned cold. I swore that if anyone could make the Evil Emperor suffer, I would become friends with him. But since we're here to form an alliance, There's no doubt about it. Looks like the Sword Edge Region Master and the Evil Emperor have a grudge. Etienne had already guessed it. It's a very deep grudge. The Sword Edge Region Master drank all the wine in his hand, turned around and looked at the long sword hanging on the wall, and said, "He killed my woman. Do you think it's a deep grudge?" Etienne froze. Although he had guessed it, he was still shocked. Deep. Very deep. If the woman I love was killed, I would also go crazy and kill the evil spirit race whenever I see them. No wonder you're on the blacklist of the evil spirit race. Etienne finally understood what was going on. The main reason why the Sword Edge Region Master could be this crazy was because his beloved woman had been killed. How could he not be crazy? If it were him, he would also go crazy, and he would be even more ruthless than the Sword Edge Region Lord. Blacklist? I don't know about that. The Sword Edge Region Master smiled, but there was a hint of coldness in his smile, as if he didn't think it was enough. It seems like the sword art that the Sword Edge Region Master was practicing just now is related to your Taoist partner, right? Etienne recalled that set of ordinary sword art. It was a very ordinary thing, yet the Sword Edge Region Master went to cultivate it. Combined with what the Sword Edge Region Master had said before, he immediately guessed it, as expected of the Heavenly Cloud Territory Master. Drink up. The Sword Edge Territory Master didn't say anything else. After filling their cups with wine, he drank a few more cups. Etienne didn't say anything. They just poured wine together, clinked glasses, and down the wine. He didn't stop until he had lost count of how many cups he had drunk. I wonder why the Heavenly Cloud Territory Master is here for something else, right? The Sword Edge Region Master drank a lot of wine, but he didn't look drunk at all. The same was true for Etienne. He was completely fine. It was impossible for such a small amount of wine to make him drunk. My original idea was very simple. I just wanted to check out this crystal barrier. I haven't been here before, so I wanted to check it out and eliminate some evil spirit race. I happened to see Heavenly God Shui and the others patrolling, so I followed them. You know the result. That's it. Etienne answered honestly. There was nothing to hide. I see. I thought you were here to investigate that matter. The Sword Edge Region Master suddenly realized. Investigate that matter? What is it? Etienne immediately sensed that something was not simple. It was definitely not something that could attract the Sword Edge Region Master's attention. About breaking the barrier. Their strength is increasing, and they seem to have found a way to open the barrier. It's giving us a headache. The Sword Edge Region Master shook his head. The increasing number of evil spirit race made them feel distressed. This was not something they wanted to see. Etienne was stunned. He immediately knew what was going on. Huan Mingyue could control the opening of the barrier, which was why such a strange thing happened. Now that Huan Mingyue was taken away, there was no way to open it. I know a little about this. Etienne raised his wine cup and swirled it slightly. The Sword Edge Region Master immediately looked at him. The Heaven Creator race. They controlled the Heaven Creator race to open the barrier, and they did it by force. The Heaven Creator race. As expected, they controlled the Heaven Creator race. But the Heaven Creator race shouldn't have been able to control them. The Sword Edge Region Master frowned. He found it unbelievable. Etienne swirled his wine cup and said, "The Heaven Creator race can't be controlled. But what if the Heaven Creator race gave birth to their child?" The Sword Edge Region Master's pupils constricted. He shook his head. Impossible. How can the evil spirit race's bloodline combine with the Heaven Creator race? That's the truth. That's what I shared. The reason why the evil emperor is so crazy about my forces is because I captured their child. Etienne revealed such a shocking matter. Ha ha, great. I was wondering why the evil emperor was so crazy. So you captured their child. The Sword Edge Region Master's eyes were filled with joy. He wanted nothing more than to kill the evil emperor. To be able to defeat the evil emperor, it must be extremely satisfying. Then, they must have mastered some strange techniques. This is not a good thing. It's indeed not a good thing. It could even be said to be very serious. Now that I've captured one, I don't know if it will appear again in the future. After all, if one appears, there might be two or even three, Etienne said solemnly. That's why we can't delay any longer. It's best to rescue the Heaven Creator race immediately and cut off their method. That's a good idea, but we don't know where the Heaven Creator race is being held. The Sword Edge Region Master shook his head. They had an idea, but they didn't know where and what use it would be. But I know. Etienne narrowed his eyes. Slap. The Sword Edge Region Master slammed the table. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Good. Tianyan Region Master, you are indeed the strangest Region Master in recent years. You even know about this. In that case, I shall follow you and rescue the Heaven-Creating Clan. The Sword Edge Region Master really went as he said. How could he not go for such an important matter? Just the two of us? The evil emperor is not easy to deal with. Etienne shook his head. Chapter 1684. There are other region lords going with them? Etienne's eyes lit up. If there were other powerful beings going with them, then the success rate would be greatly increased. Yes, there is also the Fecta Region Lord. The Sword Edge Region Lord said with a smile. The Fecta Region Lord? Etienne narrowed his eyes. Will he go with them? He didn't expect this. He didn't expect the Sword Edge Region Lord to be on good terms with the Fecta Region Lord. However, thinking about it carefully, the Fecta Region Lord's daughter was captured and was reported dead. This was almost the same as the Sword Edge Region Lord losing his most beloved woman. It wasn't impossible for the two of them to sympathize with each other. Of course, the Fecta Region Lord will definitely take action to deal with the evil spirit race, especially to save the Heaven Creators. After all, the Heaven Creators are technically his mother's family. Don't you think that's important? The Sword Edge Region Lord smiled. Is that so? Etienne was taken aback. This meant that the Fecta Region Lord's mother was from the Heaven Creators. The Fecta Region Lord had the bloodline of the Heaven Creators. Following this logic, it made sense why he could give birth to a goddess with two terrifying abilities. The bloodline of the Heaven Creators was extremely strange. They had almost all kinds of special abilities, and some of them were quite unique. Therefore, it wasn't surprising that the Heavenly Luck Goddess and the Heavenly Misfortune Goddess appeared. Apart from the Fecta Region Lord, I can also invite the Region Lord Yuelong. The Sword Edge Region Lord said another name. What? The Region Lord Yuelong. Etienne was taken aback. How could he even invite the Region Lord Yuelong? Region Lord Yuelong is my sister-in-law. Do you think she will go? The Sword Edge Region Lord smiled. She would be more than happy to do such a thing. She would be happy to destroy the evil spirit race. Etienne drew a sharp intake of breath. Wouldn't befriending the Sword Edge Region Lord be the same as befriending two major forces? He had been busy for so many days. He might as well befriend the Region Lord so that he could befriend the other two. Apart from that, I can also summon Cloudpiercer Region Master. The Cloudpiercer Region Lord is right next door. He has been guarding the crystal barrier with us for a long time and has been harassed by the evil spirit race countless times. If we ask him to go with us, he will definitely be very willing. The Sword Edge Region Lord reported another person. Etienne was completely dumbfounded. Damn it, weren't the 4 blacklists all here? Including himself, the 5 blacklisted individuals were all present. The 5 people who gave the evil spirit race the most headaches were all preparing to gather and attack the evil spirit race together. This is simply the 5 blacklists, all of them moving out. Etienne felt that it was very funny. He wondered how the evil spirit race and the others would feel when they attacked together. 5 blacklists? I've never heard of that before. Does that mean we're all blacklisted? Sword Edge Region Master laughed. Yes, Fecta Domain Lord, Yuelong Domain Lord, Cloudpiercer Domain Lord Yu, and me are all here. When the time comes, we will definitely stun them, said Etienne with a smile. We're all on the blacklist? The Sword Edge Region Master rubbed his chin and thought carefully before saying, thinking about it, it's true. All of us are so crazy. Seeing the evil spirit race's fierce slaughter, especially the small branches of the evil spirit race, they must hate us to the bone. Especially the evil spirit race that came through the barrier. We've already killed countless waves of them. After the Sword Edge Region Master heard this, he was extremely happy, but he felt that it was not enough. then inform them to come over now? Etienne said. I'll contact them now and see if they're willing to go. Although they have this thought, whether or not they have the time is another matter. They were not the subordinates of the Sword Edge Region Master, so it was naturally impossible for the Sword Edge Region Master to casually call them over. Thus, whether or not they would come over was another matter. That's for sure, but let's ask first, Etienne said. The Sword Edge Region Master nodded and quickly went to contact them. Since they knew the location, they had to act quickly. If they changed the location, it would be an extremely troublesome matter. Very quickly, the Sword Edge Region Master returned and said excitedly. All of them said there's no problem and are preparing to rush over here. Good. Etienne's eyes lit up. If they all came over, it would undoubtedly increase the success rate. If it was just him alone, it would definitely be difficult. Now that they were moving together, and they were all region masters, the meaning was different. As long as the evil emperor was not guarding there, attacking should not be a problem. Not long after, the first to arrive was the cloud-piercing region master. The cloud-piercing region master looked like a very scholarly middle-aged man. He did not look like someone who liked to be stained with blood, but more like a teacher. However, he was one of the blacklisted people. When he didn't explode, he was very scholarly. Once he exploded, he was like a demon. Cloud-piercing region master, you're here. This is the Sky Cloud Region Master. The Sword Edge Region Master introduced him to the Cloud-piercing Region Master. Upper Heavenly Venerable Cultivation Base? The Cloud-piercing Region Master frowned. This was not a good thing for him. If his cultivation base was too low, he would easily be a burden. Before coming, he had already informed them of the general reason, so they all knew that it was a plan to save the Sky Creator Clan. Now that they saw that Etienne's cultivation base was so low, he was afraid that he would easily be a burden. The Sky Cloud Region Master's cultivation base is low, but his overall strength is not weak. The Sword Edge Region Master said. The Cloud-piercing Region Master nodded and did not say anything. Obviously, he did not believe it. Because of the Sword Edge Region Master's recommendation, he did not want to say anything more. Anyway, when the time came, he did not want to be a burden. After a while, the other two Region Masters arrived one after another. When they saw Etienne, their eyes lit up. Sky Cloud Region Master, you are here too? Yes, I told you about this plan. I did not expect the Sword Edge Region Master to still be in contact with you. Then, moving with you is undoubtedly the best choice. Sword Edge Region Master, I did not expect you to be in contact with the Sky Cloud Region Master. I also just met the Sky Cloud Region Master. The Cloud-piercing Region Master was very surprised. Did the Region Master Yuelong have such a high opinion of Etienne? Soon, the disheveled old man, the Fector Region Master, came over. When he saw Etienne, his eyes lit up, and he hugged Etienne. Sky Cloud Region Master, thank you so much. If it were not for you, my daughter would not have been able to come back. The Fector Region Master completely lost his composure. Previously, Etienne did not follow them back to the Fector region, so he did not know the situation. Chapter 1685. The Cloud-piercing Domain Lord had never seen the Fecta Domain Lord being so friendly toward someone. Even the Soarpeak Domain Lord was dumbfounded. The Fecta Domain Lord was also dumbfounded. He didn't expect the Fecta Domain Lord to be so friendly toward someone. It seemed like the heavenly god Misfortune was very important to him. Even though he was usually very calm, he was still very friendly toward her. Fecta Domain Lord, didn't you say your daughters? The Soarpeak Domain Lord was dumbfounded. That's right. I was in despair. I didn't think my daughters would survive and be trapped in the territory of the evil spirit race. Luckily, the Heavenly Cloud Domain Lord managed to sneak in. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to get my daughters out. The Fecta Domain Lord put an arm around Etienne's shoulder and said with a smile, Kid, my two daughters think so highly of you. Are you interested in becoming my son-in-law? Etienne was so scared that he almost swallowed his tongue. He immediately started to promote the two goddesses to Etienne. Even the Cloud-piercing Domain Lord and the others were shocked. His two daughters had always been his treasures. He didn't want to marry them off. Now, he even took the initiative to mention this to Etianyan. How could the cloud-piercing domain lord not be shocked? He was most shocked that Etianyan was able to sneak into the territory of the evil spirit race and rescue the Fekta domain lord's daughters. What kind of ability was that? Even the cloud-piercing domain lord couldn't sneak in. The difficulty was too high. The security was very tight. There was no way to sneak in no matter where one went. The only way to sneak in was to force his way in. Not only did Etianyan sneak in, but he also rescued the two of them. This was very shocking to him. Fekta domain lord, please don't do that. Etianyan immediately refused. What? You don't like my two daughters? The Fekta domain lord frowned. He was a little displeased. That's not it. Your two daughters are very beautiful and very powerful. However, I don't think I'm good enough for them. Etianyan smiled and belittled himself. How is that possible? You're so strong and have so many abilities. I dare say that no young man in the entire divine territory is stronger than you. The Fekta domain ruler gave him a very high evaluation. It was not just a high evaluation, it was a complete explosion. His abilities were strong, his puppeteering abilities were ferocious, and he was also the guardian of the evil spirit's pearl. If all of them were added up, who wouldn't be a match for him? Only who was not worthy of him. Cloudpiercer domain lord smacked his lips. He wanted to say something, but he didn't dare to. If he said that, wouldn't he be disrespecting the Fekta domain lord? Cough cough, let's not talk about this. Let's discuss how to save the sky creators. This is more important now. Let's put everything else aside for now. Etianyan quickly changed the topic. He did not want to continue talking about this. That's right. Let's talk next time. We have to rescue the sky creators this time. The Fekta Protectorate Lord felt that it was better to resolve this matter first. In any case, there would be plenty of time for marriage in the future. For now, the heaven-creating races matters were more important. Then, they began to discuss with each other about how to proceed. However, after asking a lot of questions, the Fekta Protectorate Lord and the others turned their attention to Tianyun. Tianyun Protectorate Lord, what's your plan? Compared to that, we are more interested in your plan. They were very interested in Tianyun's plan. Cloudpiercer Domain Lord originally wanted to say something, but he was stopped. He turned his attention to Tianyun. He also wanted to hear what Tianyun had to say. Tianyun was highly regarded, so he wanted to see how strong he was. I don't have any plan. The security there is tight. Apart from the evil emperor, anyone who goes near it will die. Therefore, we will just kill our way in. There is no good plan. It is basically meaningless to sneak in, Tianyun said. The plan was simple and crude. According to the information provided by Huan Mingyue, it was basically like that. There was no other way to get in. The security was tight, so they had to break in by force. I don't think so. The Fekta Protectorate Lord has all kinds of amazing skills. Maybe we can ask the Fekta Protectorate Lord for help? Cloudpiercer Domain Lord retorted. He didn't want to break in by force. If they did, they would be surrounded, especially since there were only 5 of them, which was not a lot. They couldn't attack in large numbers. That would undoubtedly be the start of the God-Emperor War, and it would start in advance. They weren't ready yet, so they had to destroy the evil spirit race's plan first. If they didn't prepare anything, they would definitely lose if they fought the battle directly. Especially since the evil spirit race's situation was not clear, no one dared to attack them casually, and there was no meaningful alliance. Therefore, they couldn't attack them alone, could they? The most important thing was to save the Sky Creator race first, and then discuss the future. Cutting off the evil spirit race's support would make everything much easier. Okay, then let's break in by force. Fekta Protectorate Lord immediately agreed with Tianyun. Since the Tianyun Protectorate Lord has said so, I also support you. Yuelong Domain Lord, who was next to him, echoed. Haha, since you have said so, what else can I say? Let's kill them together with the Tianyun Protectorate Lord. Jianfeng Domain Lord laughed. What? Cloudpiercer Domain Lord was stunned. He had said so much, but Tianyun was still the leader? Why didn't he listen to his opinion? He waved his hand in the air and said, Wait, didn't you plan to sneak in? Fecta Protectorate Lord, I think you can do it, right? Huh? I can do it, but it depends on the situation. Especially since the Tianyin Protectorate Lord said that it's impossible, I definitely can't do it. Fecta Protectorate Lord spread out his hand and looked like he would listen to Tianyin's advice. This Cloudpiercer Domain Lord was dumbfounded. This doesn't make sense, does it? Cloudpiercer Domain Lord, it's decided, no need to say more. Jianfeng Domain Lord put his hand on Cloudpiercer Domain Lord's shoulder and said in a low voice, I know you don't understand, but you will know when the time comes. Okay. Cloudpiercer Domain Lord was very helpless, and he looked at Tianyun with a puzzled look. Is this kid really so magical? In the end, he didn't want to say more, and he just hoped that it was true. Of course, Tianyun wouldn't say anything. Based on the memory given by Huan Mingyue, there was no way to sneak into that area. The only way was to force their way in. Unless the memory given by Huan Mingyue was fake, they could only force their way in. There was no other way. Therefore, they had to race against time, and the sooner they could save the people, the better. If they were too slow, they might be intercepted. Chapter 1686. By the time Tianyin and the rest had made their plans and set off, the evil spirit race's side was in chaos. All of them were wiped out. Not a single one was left. What are they doing? The evil emperor slammed the chair angrily. The chair did not shatter, but a large part of the ground was shattered. The powerhouses below trembled. The evil emperor's anger was not that easy to bear. Lord Evil Emperor, the enemy is too strong and knows how to break the joint formation, so I remember that there is no such powerhouse in the Jianfeng divine realm. Where did he come from? According to the investigation, it was the Tianyin Domain Lord who was on the blacklist. What? The evil emperor stood up and angrily kicked the chair. The chair was sent flying and smashed into the wall, turning into powder. It's that brat. It's him again. It's always him. This time, the purple evil spirit that could affect the Heaven Creator clan was sent over with great difficulty. But it was killed again. Damn it. I want to kill that brat right now. The evil emperor was infuriated once again. He couldn't figure out which expert it was, but who knew it was Tianyun? How could he have known it was Tianyun? First, Huan Mingyue was captured. Then the purple evil spirit was killed. He wanted to smash the barrier and rush in to destroy the Three Realms Divine Realm. However, he could not destroy it at all. If he could destroy the barrier of the Three Realms Divine Realm, he would definitely be able to destroy the crystal barrier. The experts below looked at each other in dismay. They were equally shocked when they heard the news. Tianyun's actions could probably reach the top of the blacklist. Capturing the Empress and killing the purple evil spirit were both major events. Where is he now? The evil emperor asked sternly. He seems to have entered the Jianfeng Divine Realm as a guest, one of the elders reported. He entered the Jianfeng Divine Realm. The evil emperor's eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. Keep a close eye on the Jianfeng Divine Realm. Report to me as soon as that brat comes out. If it wasn't for the fact that I have too many things to do now, I really want to get rid of the Jianfeng Divine Realm as well. The evil emperor could not do it for the time being, and the other forces could not destroy the evil spirit race either. However, the 5th grade and 4th grade divine realms were more like a plate of loose sand. They had no intention of forming an alliance. In this chaotic era, they did not dare to form alliances casually, as they could easily be stabbed in the back. This gave the evil spirit race a chance. After making the arrangements, the evil emperor went to busy himself with other matters. However, he was in a terrible mood. After all, it was already extremely terrible before. The heavenly deities arranged in the Three Realms Divine Realm had all died. How could they be in a good mood? Who knew that before he could calm down, he would hear such explosive news? His heart almost couldn't take it. Tianyun was the first person who had ever played the evil emperor like this. The Tianyun, Emperor Tianyun, Tianyun off. Off. He divine emperor god, and Tianyun divine was in. Under the strange gaze of the Fecta domain ruler, he completely concealed his aura and rapidly flew away. The affected domain lord's spirit ship was very special. It could hide itself. Even spiritual senses could not detect it. It was definitely a supreme-grade spirit ship. From the looks of it, it was indeed a heavenly god's spiritual treasure. It could be considered a relatively expensive item. This is the general direction. Just fly there. Yun took out the star compass and pointed at the corresponding location. The affected domain lord and the others came over to take a look. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with this location? Yun was puzzled. He had never been there before, so he did not know what the situation was. This is where the sky creators used to live. It was destroyed a long time ago, and almost all that's left are ruins. I didn't expect it to be here. Turning the place where the sky creators used to live into a place to imprison them is really ironic. The affected domain lord shook his head. They really didn't expect to be hiding here. So that's how it is. I didn't know about this. Yun put away the star compass. In that case, let me see how they hide. The affected domain lord's eyes lit up. There was even more killing intent in the depths of his eyes. His mother's home had been destroyed. Now, they were being imprisoned in their home. How ironic. This made his hands itch. He wanted nothing more than to destroy them immediately. The transparent spirit ship was very fast under the affected domain lord's control. However, it still took a long time to reach the heaven creator divine territory. As soon as they entered, they saw piles of broken pieces. These were all fragments of various planets. There were also fragments of ruins. Almost none of them were complete. They were all broken pieces. This was enough to show how tragic the situation was. The sky creators had been completely destroyed. The tragic situation was enough to make one fantasize. This situation is a little too tragic. Yun looked around. There was not a single area that was unharmed. He didn't know how intense the battle had been. The sky creators have amazing attainments in all kinds of abilities. Even a planet or a tree can be turned into a weapon. But under such circumstances, they were still breached. Correspondingly, the evil spirit race paid a heavy price. It was a very heavy price. They didn't even have many casualties. The evil spirit race seemed to have countless lives. They weren't afraid of death at all. No matter how difficult it was to attack, they pushed their way through. In the end, the Sky Creator's race still lost because of exhaustion. The affected domain lord shook his head. He didn't participate in this battle. By the time he understood what had happened, it was already too late. A battle between god emperors was just that cruel. After understanding the situation, he realized that it was all the evil spirit race's doing. In the outer divine territories, he thought that it was some selfish divine territory. Who knew that it was the evil spirit race, a race that didn't belong to this world? Soon after, they entered. After passing through countless fragments, they finally arrived at the marked area, the rock tornado. There was an area in front of them that was surrounded by all kinds of rocks. There was almost no way for wind to pass through. There was only a small entrance that could be used to enter. However, there were powerful cultivators guarding the entrance. There were also all kinds of large arrays. It was almost airtight. I finally know why other methods didn't work. The cloud-piercing domain lord smiled bitterly. At that time, he thought that it was a normal place to be imprisoned. Now, it seemed like he was wrong. Even if the affected domain lord was very powerful, it would be very difficult for him to pass through this terrifying rock tornado. Once they entered, even if their cultivation levels weren't weak, they would be forced back, and all of them would be injured. Chapter 1687. Based on the current situation, I can't even break in easily. Just as the heavenly cloud domain lord said, we can only force our way in. The Fecta domain lord sized up the stone tornado and said in a deep voice, and this is the Heaven Creating Clan's method. It's really ironic that the Heaven Creating Clan is using their own ability to seal themselves. Such a shocking formation was the Heaven Creating Clan's ability. His own ability was used on himself. It was indeed very ironic. It looks like it's not simple inside. Even if we manage to break in, it won't be easy for us to save them. The Sword Edge domain lord sized up the formation. Since the outside was so shocking, it was definitely not simple inside. Yes, the heaven-creating clan's ability is naturally not limited to this. Unless the evil emperor is not cautious, the traps inside are definitely extremely difficult. They might not be able to kill us, but they can at least trap us inside temporarily. The affected domain lord's expression was very solemn. If we are trapped and the evil emperor and the others attack, we will be in danger. Especially in their territory, we won't be easy to deal with. Fecta, domain lord. Even you can't break it? The sword-edge domain lord was very surprised. The Fecta domain lord was very familiar with the heaven-creating clan's ability, and he even had half of the heaven-creating clan's bloodline. Logically speaking, it should be very easy. I can break it, but it won't be easy in a short period of time. I'm afraid that if we are trapped, it won't be that fast. The Fecta domain lord shook his head. He was not invincible, and naturally, he couldn't break everything easily. Then should we give it a try? The cloud-piercing domain lord smacked his lips. Wouldn't it be a wasted trip if they didn't try? We definitely have to try, but we need to prepare a foolproof plan. If only we had the previous domain lord's Fecta divine fan. The Fecta domain lord sighed. Fecta, divine fan? Fecta domain lord. Didn't I get the Fecta divine fan? Etianyan was puzzled. Indeed, the Fecta divine fan was fished out, but it's so badly damaged that its effects are greatly reduced. It's almost unusable. If we can use it, we can deduce the direction of the formation and some future situations. The Fecta domain lord explained. Fecta domain lord, I've repaired it a little. Can I use it now? Etianyan took out the Fecta divine fan. The Fecta domain lord's eyes widened when he saw it. He snatched it from Etianyan and examined it carefully. After a while, he looked at Etianyan in astonishment and asked, How? How did you do it? This celestial pearl divine fan was very damaged before, but now it has recovered more than half of its power. I spent a little effort to repair it. It's a special technique. Etianyan smiled and said, I wonder if this is enough. Enough, it's enough. Heavenly Cloud Territorial Lord, you're really special. Your technique in this aspect is really unique. I'm afraid even the Heaven Creator clan doesn't have this kind of ability. The Fecta domain lord laughed heartily. His mood was naturally different now that he had this almost repaired divine fan. The cloud-piercing domain lord raised his eyebrows when he heard such a high evaluation. He couldn't help but take another look at Etianyan. He really didn't expect such a situation. He had previously thought that Etianyan was very ordinary. Now it seemed that he was very extraordinary. The Fecta domain lord closed the fan and said with a sharp look in his eyes, All right, let's go now. They were invigorated. They were finally going to rescue the people. They had thought that they would return empty-handed. They didn't expect that Etianyan would be able to take out the repaired Fecta divine fan. This gave them a little more hope. Under the Fecta domain lord's lead, they rapidly approached the rubble tornado. The Fecta divine fan seemed to come to life in the Fecta domain lord's hand. It constantly spun and sent rays of light into his head. It was obvious that he was frantically deducing what would happen next. After a while, he quickly closed the fan and said, There's a guard outside and 3 guards inside. The guard inside will immediately rush out when we launch a sneak attack. Everything has to be done quickly. I believe that all of you will be fine. They all nodded, indicating that there would be no problem. The Fecta divine fan had already deduced what would happen next. This meant that when they launched a sneak attack, they would immediately attract the attention of the guards inside. From this, it could be determined that there were 4 guards inside, not just 1. The Fecta domain lord was the first to attack. He rushed over without hesitation. He didn't use any other moves. He just flew over and waved the Fecta divine fan in his hand, slashing at the guard. The closed fan turned into a sharp blade and slashed down. The guard didn't even have time to react before he was cut into 2 by the Fecta divine fan. Although the Fecta domain lord's cultivation wasn't high, only at the early stage upper heavenly god level, the power he unleashed was extremely terrifying. Even an intermediate heavenly god guard was instantly killed. Etianyan could tell that the Fecta domain lord wasn't just using his own power. He also had a special ability. That was the prediction ability of the Fecta Divine Fan. It could predict the opponent's movements in advance. Before this, Etion had strengthened him with healing powers. He had no other reason than to earn more experience. The Fecta Domain Lord glanced at him curiously. He didn't know why Etion was healing him. He wasn't injured at all. Why would he heal him? However, the Fecta Domain Lord didn't think too much about it. He led them in and killed their way in. Sure enough, as soon as he killed the guard, 3 more guards rushed out from inside. It's an intruder. Hurry up and report it. The guard quickly took out his communication jade pendant and wanted to pass on the information. However, the sword light was much faster than the speed at which the guard crushed the jade pendant. Clang! A cold light flashed and the guard's arm was gone. Then, the sword slashed down and the guard was cut into 10 pieces. Another guard was engulfed by a beam of moonlight. He quickly melted and turned into a pile of ash. As for the last guard, a cold light flashed through the clouds and penetrated the guard's head. They were all killed in one move without any hesitation. As for Etion, he only strengthened them with healing powers so that he could gain experience. He didn't have a chance to attack at all. Although he could also kill them in one move, he could gain experience. There was no need to go through so much trouble. The other domain lords were confused. Why did he keep strengthening his healing powers? Did he think that they would fail in their sneak attack and get injured? Chapter 1688. After killing the guards, the Fecta Domain Lord took the lead and rushed forward. At the same time, the Fecta Domain Lord kept using the Fecta Divine Fan to deduce something. The Fecta Divine Fan can't be deduced all the time. The more it is deduced, the more damage it will cause. The reason why the Fecta Divine Fan had been damaged so badly was largely because it had been constantly deducing, causing it to break down so quickly. Ding! Successfully accepted the special quest, Save the Heaven Creator Clan. Reward: 5,000 crazy points, 50 Heaven Creator Clan's favorability, and 50 other domain lords' favorability. A special quest popped up, and Etion accepted it without hesitation. It's a good quest, and he won't miss it. After rushing all the way in, there were no guards inside. But what they faced was a huge door, which was not unexpected. The guards were only the real gatekeepers, and they didn't even have the qualification to enter. Most of the time, they were just here to guard, and when there is an intruder, they will immediately send a message. It seems that we have to go in, but we still have to destroy this door. But once this door is destroyed, the evil emperor will know immediately. The Fecta Domain Lord looked up and down at the door. This door is not the work of the Heaven Creator Clan, but the work of the evil emperor himself. Its grade is not low. It is at the level of a 7th or 8th grade divine carving master. It's not surprising that the evil emperor knows this stuff. It's not surprising that some experts have other abilities, especially since the evil spirit race often devours the abilities of others. It's not particularly surprising that they can cultivate to become a high-grade divine carving master. Fecta Domain Lord, can you break this door? Sword Edge Domain Lord asked. It's not a big problem. I can break it with a little effort. But after breaking it, time will be tight. After all, the evil emperor and the others will come here in no time. At that time, there is only one escape route, and it is very likely that we will fall into a bitter battle. The Fecta Domain Lord looked at them, wanted to hear their opinion. Once they start, they may fall into a bitter battle. As for whether it will be life-threatening or not, that's another matter. They want to gather more experts, but if they come, they basically don't have any God Realm experts, and if something happens, their God Realm will fall. It's meaningless to send too few people, but sending too many people is afraid of problems. Especially since this place was not simple. It was easy for problems to arise. The key was to end the battle as soon as possible. If he could avoid fighting against Evil Emperor, he would do his best to avoid it. They might even be able to escape quickly. Since we're already here, if we don't give it a try, we'll have come for nothing. Who knows, the Heaven Creators inside might be able to help us after we break in. When that time comes, killing our way out shouldn't be a problem. the Sword Edge Region Master said after some thought. That's right, if a part of the Heaven Creator tribe could move, they would really be of help. Region Lord Yuelong agreed. The Heaven Creators were imprisoned inside, so the evil Emperor couldn't possibly torture them, right? No matter what, these were all very precious, and they couldn't be messed around. Following that, they shifted their gazes to Tianyin. Tianyin had been standing at the side without saying a word. No one knew what he was thinking. Region Lord Tianyin, what do you think? Region Lord Yuelong turned around and asked. Not much. I can only say that no matter what, we have to save the Heaven Creators. After all, if the Heaven Creators are used by them, once the crystal barrier is completely controlled, we'll probably be finished, Tianyun said in a low voice. Therefore, we can only fight. There's no other choice. You're right, there's no other choice. There might be danger, but if they didn't save the Heaven Creators, it wouldn't be danger but destruction. Following that, the affected domain lord immediately started checking to see how they could break the door. After looking around, he quickly locked onto the formation eye above and started breaking it. As soon as he started breaking it, the door began to emit a dazzling light that spread in all directions. Damn it! If we break the door even a little, the news will start to spread. We have to end this quickly. The affected domain lord cursed angrily, and his hands began to move faster. He thought that the evil emperor would only know after breaking the door, but it seemed like he would know soon. The moment the door was broken, the news was sent out. It could be seen that the evil emperor had raised the situation here to the highest level. Once something happened, he would be notified immediately. It's a pity that we don't know anything about the divine seal, and its grade is too low. Yuelong and the others wanted to help, but they didn't know anything about it. The Sword Edge Domain Lord's main focus was on sword practice, and he didn't care about anything else. He was either focused on alchemy or cultivation, but he didn't care about anything else. Let me do it, I know a little about this, Tianyin said as he stood up. He didn't expect to help. He thought that the affected Domain Lord would be enough, but he still needed his help. Heavenly Cloud Domain Lord, you know about this? If the grade is too low, then there's no way to break it. Only a 7th or 8th grade Divine Inscription Master can break it. Cloud-piercing Region Master reminded him, but he quickly shut his mouth and looked at them with shock in his eyes. Tianyun and the affected Domain Lord seemed to be competing to see who was faster, and they frantically broke the formation eye. After a brief comparison, they found that Tianyun's breaking speed was even faster than the affected Domain Lord's. When the affected Domain Lord saw this, he was shocked, but he wasn't too surprised. In his opinion, it was normal for Tianyun to be a high-level Divine Inscription Master, since he could make such an amazing puppet. With the two of them quickly breaking through the door, the time it took for them to break through the door was very short. It was mainly thanks to Tianyun's help that they were able to break it so quickly. At the same time, the evil emperor received a message. The evil emperor, who was in the closed-door meditation room, suddenly opened his eyes, and there was a bit of coldness in them. Finally, I was discovered. But it's good that I want to see what kind of fat sheep dares to break into my territory. The corners of his mouth curled into a cold smile as he slowly stood up. He was not the least bit anxious. He didn't curse, but turned around and said to the guards outside, "Summon an evil god army for me." Yes, evil emperor. The guards immediately went to summon the evil god army. The evil god army was actually the powerful evil spirit clan, and it was a well-trained evil god army. Chapter 1689. After Tianyun and the others broke the door, they rushed in together and saw an even thicker door. They didn't expect to see another door after entering. Continue to break. The affected Domain Lord rushed forward, and so did Tianyun. They continued to break the door. Their speed also soared, and they broke through the door in a frenzy. Soon, the door was broken again, and with a rumbling sound, it opened slowly. However, the affected Domain Lord slapped the door impatiently. Boom! The door was slammed open. Immediately, another disgusting door appeared in front of them. It was not much different from the door outside, but the location of the formation I was naturally different. There's more? The sword-edge domain lord and the others were stunned. How could there be so many doors? Usually 2 doors were a lot, but there were 3 this time, which was undoubtedly too many. However, this time, the Fecta domain lord and Etion didn't break through the door immediately. Instead, they stopped. Why did you stop? Are you feeling a little tired? The cloud-piercing domain lord walked over and asked in confusion. Etion and the Fecta domain lord looked at each other. Then, the Fecta domain lord looked at him and said, "Why don't you tell us what you think? I suspect that there's a trap here." Perhaps the evil emperor already knew that someone would come in, so he purposely designed so many doors. He wants us to keep breaking through the door, and when they arrive, we will be trapped here, Etion explained to them. Does this mean that the heaven creators aren't inside? The cloud-piercing domain lord frowned. If they kept breaking through the door without seeing the heaven creators, wouldn't that be a trap? No, the heaven creators are definitely inside. I believe that the Fecta domain lord has already sensed the heaven creators. The evil emperor purposely did this to let us sense the heaven creators. Then he forcefully broke through the door, thinking that we can break through everything before they arrive and rescue the heaven creators. But they don't know that we've fallen into evil emperor's trap. He wants us to continue fighting, and in the end, we won't be able to find heaven creators. Instead, we'll be trapped here. I think the evil emperor wants to capture more members of the heaven creator race, or some invaders like us. Etion listed them one by one and guessed evil emperor's thoughts. Their expressions changed. Now that he said it, it was possible. He had probably leaked out a bit of his aura for them to sense. It was just like a house where the naked eye could see through the window that there was money inside. Who would have thought that when one broke through the door after another, they would find that there were all kinds of iron cages locked inside. They could see, but not touch. This was tantamount to luring them over so that they would fall into his own trap. Either he left, or he charged in even though he knew it was a trap. That's right. What I want to say is exactly what the heavenly cloud domain lord wants to say. According to the designs of us divine engraving masters, we certainly wouldn't design so many doors. Not only would this increase consumption, but it would also be a waste of resources. It would be better to arrange for a few more guards. There is only one possibility for such a design, and that is to intercept us on purpose to stall for time. It can even be said that when we break through to the back, another door might fall in front of us to block our way out. The Fecta domain lord turned to look at the wall behind him. He couldn't see it now. If he could, it wouldn't be a trap. However, he guessed that it might be a similar trap. With the evil emperor's sinister thoughts, there would definitely be a similar trap. It seems that we are in a dilemma. If we leave, we will have come here for nothing. If we don't leave, the heaven creator race will be trapped here. We can see them, but we can't rescue them. The Jianfeng domain lord smiled bitterly. This was a very troublesome matter. Then, should we leave now or continue? They looked at each other. Only God knew if there would be another door behind this door after breaking through this one. This would give the invaders a feeling that they might be able to break through the door and find the heaven creator race next time. Of course we continue. Etienne's gaze was cold. The evil emperor thinks that he has a card up his sleeve and can intercept all the invaders. Naturally, we can't let him do as he wishes. Especially if we leave now, there will probably be another trap outside. I think the evil emperor won't let the invaders leave so easily. Yes, we have to continue breaking through the door. We have already come this far, so we can only continue. Let's compete and see if we can break through the door faster or if they can rush over faster. The Fecta domain lord was indeed unhappy. After knowing that there was such a trap, he still wanted to continue breaking through it. This was his stubbornness. He didn't want the evil emperor to succeed. Then what are we waiting for? Let's break through it together. Etienne laughed loudly. But I have to make some preparations. I will let the evil emperor know that some schemes are meaningless in the face of absolute power. Then he closed his eyes. No one knew what he was doing. The Fecta domain lord and the others looked at each other. They didn't know what Etienne wanted to do, but listening to Etienne's tone, it seemed like he had some special plan. But they chose to believe in Etienne and waited. Cloud-piercing domain Lord didn't know what Etianyan wanted to do, but after thinking about it, he decided to stay on the side. He wanted to see what kind of tricks Etianyan could come up with. Level up. Ding. Successfully leveled up to Divine Carving Master. Level 8. After deducting a lot of crazy points, the Divine Carving Master successfully leveled up to level 8, only one step away from level 9. Once it reached the 9th grade, it would be the maximum level. At that time, he would be the #1 Divine Inscriber in this world. As for whether there are other Divine Carving Masters at level 9, maybe there are, but at least they are on the same level as them. After leveling up, Etianyan's soul strength improved a lot. He actually reached lower Heavenly God level in one go. This kind of qualitative leap was expected. Previously, when he leveled up to Divine Carving Master, there were similar changes, so it was not surprising to see such a change this time. Okay, let's start now. Etianyan stood up and walked toward the door. Affected Domain Lord, I just used a secret technique that can speed up the process. Since it consumes a lot of energy, it won't last long. But let me solve it. It will be faster. Okay. Heavenly Cloud Domain Lord will decide. Affected Domain Lord didn't say any nonsense. He also wanted to see what Etianyan could do to quickly solve the special situation here. Chapter 1690. After Etianyan was ready, he directly rushed to the front of the gate, and the speed of his hands suddenly increased by 100 times. Xiao! In the blink of an eye, several formation cores were destroyed. This speed was 100 times faster than before. It was so fast that the affected Domain Lord was dumbfounded. He knew how difficult it was to break this formation, but in front of Etianyan, it was as easy as pulling a carrot. Too fast. They were all stunned. Although Cloud-piercing Domain Lord and the others didn't practice divine carving arts, they had seen it before. Moreover, they could easily master low-grade divine seals. When their cultivation reached a certain level, it would be very fast to practice other things. As for the grade, it was certainly not too high. The higher the grade, the harder it was to practice. This was the inevitable result. They didn't have that much energy to spend, so they could only practice to a relatively low level. For example, 3rd or 4th level was still very easy. As for higher level, they couldn't do anything unless they invested more energy. Therefore, although their grade was not that high, they all knew how difficult it was. The speed of breaking the formation was so fast that it stunned them. They had never seen anything like this before. This speed is so much faster than before. What kind of secret technique can increase this speed? The affected Domain Lord's eyes flashed, and his interest in Etianyan grew. Correspondingly, they were also worried about Etianyan's consumption. With such a fast speed, it must be very exhausting to break it, right? The answer was yes, but it only consumed crazy points. Etianyan himself didn't consume any crazy points, but breaking the divine seals gave him a lot of experience and proficiency. Soon, in less than a moment, the gate was completely broken. It took less than 1/10 of the time before, and it was easily broken. After the gate was broken, it was immediately slapped open by Etianyan. What came into view was yet another large door. Sure enough, it was a trap. After breaking one layer, there was another layer. Etianyan didn't complain. This was all expected. He continued to rush up and continued to break at an extremely fast speed. Soon, the gate was broken again, and the affected Domain Lord and the others were stunned. Although they had seen it before, they still couldn't get enough of it. They were still shocked. Etianyan's speed was really shocking. In their opinion, there was no one in the entire divine realm who could break the barrier faster than Etianyan, unless his cultivation was very strong, reaching the God Emperor level. But it was not broken, but smashed with a slap. The gate opened, and then another gate. Etianyan continued to break the door, and after breaking 2 doors in a row, there was no more door in front of him. The first thing that came into view were many cells, and many heaven creators were locked up in them. These heaven creators were fixed on the wall, unable to move. However, from the looks of it, the situation was still all right. At the very least, he wasn't abused too badly. After the door was broken open, they all turned their heads to look. When they thought that it was the evil emperor, they realized that the one who rushed in was not the evil spirit race. When the affected domain lord entered, he looked around with a gloomy expression. Although they weren't abused, their conditions weren't much better. All kinds of essence blood had been extracted, and they were all stuck at a very reasonable point. Thus, their conditions weren't too bad. This meant that they had turned into livestock and were kept here, unable to move. Once he recovered a little, some of his blood essence would be extracted. This was similar to the evil spirit race that Etienne had encountered before. As long as it was rare and useful, they would use this method to control it. He fattened them bit by bit, and then drained them of their blood essence bit by bit. The divine seals on the cells here are still very difficult to break. The affected domain lord also discovered that the divine seals on the cells here were not easy to break. The affected domain lord also discovered that the divine seals on the cells here were not easy to break. It was no wonder why the evil emperor was so at ease. He did not know how long he would have to spend to clear all of them. Unfortunately, his worry was misplaced. Etienne didn't say anything. He pounced forward and continued to destroy it. The seemingly sturdy divine seals were instantly destroyed. The affected domain lord and the others followed and started to rescue the heaven creators inside. However, the chains that locked the heaven creators were also suppressed by the divine seals and needed to be broken. This was up to the affected domain lord to break it, or the sword-edge domain lord and the others to use external force to break it. After all, the surface area of these chains wasn't that big. They were similar to defensive equipment and could be broken with a little more force. Compared to the thick and heavy doors, it was much easier. After all, there were more divine seals carved on the doors, and it was more difficult to break them. Etienne's current priority was to open the doors. He would first destroy all the doors before rescuing the people. This would also give the cloud-piercing domain lord and the others something to do. At least they wouldn't be waiting dumbly at the side. There were roughly 10 rooms in the entire cell, and each room held about 10 people. In total, there were more than 100 heaven creators. This wasn't a large number. Perhaps some of them had already been killed, which was why there were so few of them. However, there weren't many heaven creators to begin with. The more heaven-defying a race was, the rarer their numbers were. Very quickly, Etienne destroyed all the chains and started to rescue the heaven creators. His hand tapped on the metal chain twice. It looked like he was tapping twice, but in fact, he had already tapped it hundreds of times. The divine seals on it were immediately destroyed. Ding! The metal chain fell, and the heaven creators who were fastened to it went limp and sat on the ground. Recover a little and prepare to escape together, Etienne said before continuing to destroy the chains for the others. It was easy to bring them out. All he had to do was keep them in the living space. It wasn't difficult. Thank you. The heaven creators didn't know what to say. They were extremely grateful to Etienne, and that was all they could say. With Etienne's help, more than half of the heaven creators were rescued. The remaining few were destroyed by the cloud-piercing domain lord and the others. It had to be said that Etienne's speed was really too fast. The other 4 were no match for Etienne alone. Everyone is rescued. We can escape now. Etienne took a deep breath. It had to be said that he had expended a lot of energy, especially in terms of his spiritual power. Fortunately, his spiritual power had broken through to the lower celestial god level. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to hold on for so long. Chapter 1691. It had to be said that this was a very awkward situation. Etienne and the others had contributed the most. On the other hand, the Cloudpiercer domain lord and the others were just standing there foolishly. They had only helped out a little. However, they had only helped a little. Most of the traps were destroyed by Etienne and the affected domain lord. They could only solve a small part of the traps. Thank you. Thank you. The sky creators were trembling. Their eyes were filled with hope and excitement. They would thank the heavens if they could escape from this place. They were even more grateful to the people in front of them. However, they were more grateful to Etienne. Yun had personally rescued them. We can talk about this after we get out. Hide in this living space now. Let's escape together. Yun gestured for them to hide in the Fecta Domain Lord's space. The Fecta Domain Lord's cultivation level was not the highest. However, his overall abilities were definitely the strongest. His dispelling speed was shocking. However, in terms of combat power, he was really not on par. Any Domain Lord here was much more powerful than him. Even the Fecta Domain Lord was the same. His cultivation level did not seem very high. But who knew what kind of strange treasures he would throw out? In other words, he could smash someone to death with treasures. The Sky Creators did not think too much. As long as it was not the evil spirit race, they would think that it was a good person, especially when they sensed a familiar aura from the Fecta Domain Lord. It was undoubtedly the aura of their clansmen. They immediately entered the Fecta Domain Lord's special space. However, they had only entered a part of the space when one of them warned, "The evil emperor has set up many traps here. He has also used our abilities to strengthen this place. When you escape, there will be even stronger defenses. You have to be careful." "We have already guessed that." "No problem," said Yun. "Then we will leave it to you. We can't help much now. We can only say that we will reward you handsomely after we escape." They nodded and surged into the Fecta Domain Lord's special space. After all of them had entered, they immediately fled outside. The Sky Creators were no longer here. All that was left were empty prison cells. As for treasures, it was even more impossible to find them here. However, in terms of treasures, the Sky Creator race was indeed a treasure. Every single member of the Sky Creator race was extremely precious. Sure enough, as soon as they turned back, the gates immediately began to be sealed. Large doors descended from high above, blocking their path at an extremely fast speed. There were a total of 7 doors. The divine seals on each gate were different, and it would take time to break them. But Yun took the lead and rushed forward and began to quickly destroy it. His speed was as shocking as ever. Soon, a door was destroyed. This simply couldn't stop him. He was also an 8th grade Divine Inscription Master. Unless he encountered a 9th grade Divine Seal, he would be able to break through it at an astonishing speed. Heavenly Cloud Territorial Lord, can you still hold on? Don't force yourself. The Fecta Domain Lord and the others began to worry. Yun had been fighting for such a long time. Perhaps he had used up a lot of energy and was just holding on. "I can still hold on, no problem." Yun continued to break through the doors. Even if he couldn't hold on, he had to. He didn't want to be trapped here, and he didn't want to encounter the evil emperor leading a group of experts to kill him. At that time, even if they forced their way out, they would suffer heavy losses. Since Yun had said so, they couldn't say anything more. They could only wait on the side. They prayed in their hearts that Yun could really hold on. As long as he could escape, everything would be over. Yun rushed madly all the way. Soon, the doors were destroyed one after another. Even if they were reinforced, they were destroyed at an astonishing speed with his super speed of 128 times. In less than the time for an incense stick to burn, all 7 doors were destroyed. When the last door was destroyed, he quickly pushed it open. The Fecta Domain Lord and the others' hearts were stuck in their throats. When they saw the light outside, they were overjoyed. Judging from this speed, they could probably escape. "We're out. Let's go." After Yun left, he didn't look happy at all. To him, it wasn't over until he had completely escaped from this place. They flew out one after another. However, they didn't fly far before Yun immediately stopped. He was enveloped in a thick shield that flashed with lightning. There was also a layer of rubble outside. It seemed like they had activated a thick shield and rubble when they came out. This was to prevent the invaders from turning around and escaping when they gave up on the invasion. This is the Sky Creator Clan's method. They fuse the power of lightning and rubble to form an extremely strong shield. If we charge out recklessly, we'll have to expend a lot of energy. We might even get injured. If we break through it, we'll need a long time. The evil emperor is the evil emperor. He's already calculated everything. It's basically flawless. When the affected domain lord saw the shield, his expression changed. He immediately knew what was going on. Although he had expected this, he had to admit that the evil emperor's preparations were too thorough. He really wanted the invaders to not be able to return. Even if they succeeded in invading, there would be layers of protection when they came out. It was practically a defense hell. Correspondingly, this place consumed a lot of resources. Setting up such things required a lot of resources. Ordinary forces wouldn't play it this way. However, the evil emperor liked to play it this way. He felt like he was catching a turtle in a jar and slowly toyed with the invaders. It's fine. We just have to continue breaking. As long as it's a divine seal, there's nothing we can't break. We just need a little more time. Onion swept his gaze across and immediately searched for a flaw. Although it was created by the Sky Creator clan, it was still fused with the divine seal. As long as they found the right direction, there was nothing they couldn't break. That's true. However, after fusing with the Sky Creator clan's technique, the difficulty of finding the flaw has increased greatly. The affected domain lord swept his gaze across. However, I'll help you. My breaking speed isn't that fast, but I can still help you find the flaw. You don't have to break the entire shield. You only need to break a small part of it. With our strength, we can break a small crack and force our way out. When that time comes, even if it's slightly affected, we can still easily break out, the affected domain lord suggested. Their cultivation base wasn't just for show. Even if they forced their way out, they could just about force their way out. However, the damage they would suffer was greater, and the risk was also higher. This was especially so because they were slower. Chapter 1692. No problem. Let's find a flaw and break out of it. Onion looked around and quickly activated his heavenly eye, searching for the flaw with affected domain lord. Time was of the essence. They didn't know when the evil emperor would arrive, so it was best to break the barrier as soon as possible. With the two of them working together, they quickly found the flaw. At this time, Onion also took the lead and rushed forward to break the barrier. However, the speed at which he broke the barrier wasn't ideal, mainly because the barrier was surrounded by many other forces. If he got a little closer, he would suffer all sorts of attacks, causing him to suffer all sorts of injuries and affecting his breaking speed. Fortunately, the Sword Edge Region Master and the others quickly surrounded him and stood in front of him, easily blocking all kinds of attacks. If they couldn't even do this, then they might as well just kill themselves. Under the protection of the many domain lords, Onion broke the barrier very smoothly. Although he wasn't particularly fast, it was much faster than before when he was interfered with. Of course, it was still much faster than when the affected domain lord broke the barrier. As the barrier's energy was fluctuating, the formation's eye was also fluid, so it was a little difficult to find it. As long as he found it, he could break it immediately. If it was similar to the fixed formation from before, it would be easy to break it. This isn't easy at all. With the Sky Creator clan's techniques, the difficulty has increased exponentially. Onion finally witnessed the Sky Creator clan's power. They were adept at transformation. Whether it was offense or defense, they would constantly change. This way, it wouldn't be easy to break through. For example, the difficulty of breaking the barrier was greatly increased. If there weren't other domain lords to help, Onion would have to spend a lot more time to break it. It's about time. Onion's eyes lit up. Just a little bit more, and he would be able to break a crack. Then, he would be able to escape with everyone. The others were delighted. As long as they could break out, they would win. They would be able to escape successfully and wouldn't have to face the evil emperor. Finally, under Onion's technique, a small crack appeared on the shield. However, the crack was so small that it looked like it didn't exist at all. It was similar to a crack in a crystal barrier. It had just been penetrated, but it had already begun to repair itself. Let's go. You guys go out first. I'll intercept them from behind. Onion gestured for them to rush out first. Once he loosened his grip, it would immediately close up. At that time, let alone him, even the others wouldn't be able to get out. The affected domain lord and the others wasted no time and immediately led the charge. They could tell what was going on. If this dragged on, it would drag Etion down. They formed a circle and rushed out. The Fecta domain lord shouted, "After we get out, we will build a passage for you and protect you." Etion nodded, indicating that he understood. Very soon, the Fecta domain lord and the others rushed out. As soon as they did, they were immediately hit by all kinds of attacks. Because they had been weakened, they were much less powerful. Overall, they were still able to get out easily. As they rushed out one after another, the evil emperor happened to rush over. When he saw them coming out one by one, his expression changed. "What's going on? They actually came out? How did they do it?" The evil emperor's expression was ugly. He was confident that he could stop the invaders, but he didn't expect them to come out so quickly. When he saw them coming out, he saw that they were all familiar faces. They were actually on the blacklist. Very soon, for blacklisted existences appeared in front of him. However, when he took a closer look, he realized that there was another person inside the shield. It was Etion. All 5 blacklisted existences were in front of him. Not a single one was left out. In particular, Etion, whom he hated to the bone, was still holding on inside the shield. "Damn it, don't even think of escaping." The evil emperor quickly formed hand seals. Very soon, the shield that had been opened up was rapidly mended. In the blink of an eye, the shield that had been opened up was mended up. With the interference of external forces, the effect was completely different. If the Sky Creators had been maintaining the shield from the side, the effect would have been even more different. Otherwise, the evil emperor wouldn't have been so crazy as to capture all the Sky Creators. First, he had captured them. Even if he couldn't control them, he could force them to break open the crystal shield. At least it wouldn't be constantly mended. Etion's expression changed. He had wanted to go out, but now the exit was sealed, and it was even more secure than before. When he looked outside, he realized that the evil emperor had appeared in the distance. He knew why this was happening. He didn't expect that something like this would happen in the end. The evil emperor is here. The Fecta Protectorate ruler and the others had ugly expressions. They were also prepared to help Etion break open the passageway so that they could pull him out. Now, forget about pulling him out. They had to break it open again. That would take even more time, especially with the evil emperor interfering and constantly strengthening the shield. How could they break it open so easily? This basically meant that Etion was trapped inside and couldn't come out. "Go! Go now!" Etion's voice could barely be heard, and he signaled them to leave and leave him alone. Tianyin, Protectorate ruler. They gritted their teeth and finally turned around and fled in another direction. It wasn't because they were heartless, but it was meaningless for them to stay here. They couldn't break open the barrier easily. Rather than staying here, it was better to escape and settle down the heaven-creating clan first. After all, the evil emperor didn't come alone. There were 2 teams of evil deity army here. One team had 15 evil deity army members, and the other 2 teams had 30 evil deity army members. It meant that there were 30 heavenly deity evil spirit clan members, and the evil emperor personally led them here. Even the 5 protectorate rulers didn't dare to fight them head-on, because it would only increase the death rate. The reason why they didn't dare to send all their forces here was that this was their battlefield, which was supported by all kinds of arrays. If they sent all their forces here, they would only suffer heavy casualties. If the evil emperor brought experts to attack their forces, it would be difficult for them to resist, but at least they wouldn't be in such a disadvantageous position like here. Damn it! The Tianyin Protectorate ruler has been caught. We have no choice but to leave first. Otherwise, even we can't leave. That's right. Let's go first. We'll move the Sky Creators out of here first, and then we'll come back and fight them to the death. They were not afraid of death. After all, if they were to fight them head-on and all of them died here, the Heaven Creator race would have been saved for nothing. They would still be captured in the end. Chapter 1693. When the evil king saw them escaping, he immediately shouted, "Hurry up and chase after them. Don't let them escape." Yes, evil king. The 2 evil god armies quickly joined forces and turned into 2 huge evil spirits, chasing after them. After exploding out, their speed reached the limit in one go, and they rapidly closed the distance between them. When Tianyun, who was inside the shield, saw the situation outside, his expression quickly turned solemn. He did not expect that he had killed so many evil spirit race powerhouses, who knew that there were still so many of them. A bunch of evil god armies. Just these two evil god armies alone could probably wipe out many forces, right? However, the evil king and the others did not do so, or rather, they did not do so for the time being. As for why they were not in a hurry to escape, perhaps they had their own considerations. No matter what, from this, it could be seen that the strength of the evil spirit race was a little beyond their imagination. Perhaps many evil spirit race members had already come over from the crystal barrier, so there was a group of very powerful beings. Let's go. The Fecta Domain Master waved the Fecta Divine Fan in his hand, and at the same time, a transparent spirit ship appeared in front of him. He pulled the other Domain Masters into it, and then burst out with the fastest speed possible, disappearing on the spot with a whoosh. The terrifying speed was so fast that even the fused evil spirits could not catch up. In particular, as they flew for a long time, their speed gradually increased, and they broke through this area, disappearing into the pitch-black deep space. To be honest, this is really not my style. The Sword-Edge Domain Master's expression was ugly on the transparent spirit ship. He felt really bad about leaving Tianyun behind like this. Is this also our style? The Fecta Domain Master's expression was also ugly. They thought that everything was going smoothly. Who knew that they would still be intercepted by the evil king? Tianyun was trapped in the shield. Under the control of the evil king, the shield's power was more than doubled. In this way, even if they helped, they would not be able to break it immediately. Facing the two evil god armies, they immediately had an idea. They could only leave first. They would first save the Sky Creator race, then they would call for reinforcements. This was the best solution. This meant that their plan could be considered as half a failure. Originally, the few of them came here with the intention of sneaking in quietly, so that it would be easier to escape. Who knew that one person would be left behind? But for most situations, this was indeed an extremely worthwhile price to pay. Sacrificing one person to save so many people was naturally more worthwhile. Sometimes, if you can't get a perfect ending, you can only choose a less perfect ending. It doesn't matter. I think we should focus on escaping. If we can't escape, then all our efforts will be in vain, and we will be letting down the heavenly cloud Region Lord's good intentions. Region Lord Yuelong and the others looked gloomy as they felt a powerful force chasing after them. Without a doubt, it was the evil god army. They were chasing after them. The two evil god armies increased their speed to the extreme and caught up with them. If this continued, they would definitely catch up with them. Yes, let's escape first, the Fecta Domain ruler said coldly. They were ready to fight at any time. If they didn't repel the two evil god armies, they wouldn't be able to escape. The two evil god armies, which had transformed into evil spirits, were so fast that even a spirit ship could easily catch up with them. This was enough to show how terrifying their strength was. While they were preparing to fight, Tianyun began to think about how to sneak out. The crack in the shield had been mended. They could only open it again, or they could break through it by force. There was no other way. As for instant transmission, it was useless in this place. The Heaven Creator clan's things were very strange, and the seal was so strong that he couldn't pass through. Sound could pass through, but his spiritual sense couldn't. It was completely blocked by the surrounding energy, so he couldn't use the teleportation godstone or instant transmission. If it was useful, he wouldn't have come here to break the shield. He would have left with them. I didn't expect that we would meet again. The evil emperor didn't chase after them personally. Instead, he came to the front of the shield and looked at Tianyun coldly. Before, he had been insulted by Tianyun, but he couldn't fight back. Now it was different. Being trapped inside was like catching a turtle in a jar. He could do whatever he wanted. Yes, I didn't expect that we would meet again so soon. Tianyun smiled and said, I don't feel comfortable here. Can I go out and have a chat with you? Let's have a cup of tea or something. Do you think I'm stupid? Since you want to save the Heaven Creator clan, How about staying inside? Wouldn't it be more comfortable to be locked up with them? The evil emperor sneered. Tianyun was stunned. It seemed like the evil emperor didn't know that the Heaven Creator clan had been rescued, and not a single one was left. It seemed like the evil emperor could only sense that the gate had been broken, but he didn't know what was going on inside. But thinking about it, this was indeed the case. Unless they set up a similar array, they wouldn't know. If they did, it would be more troublesome. The main reason was that they trusted these defenses. The evil emperor naturally wouldn't set them up. Hence, he made a huge mistake. He thought that they had returned empty-handed, so he stayed here and didn't chase after them. After Tianyin understood, he smiled. That's right. Then lock me up together with the Heaven Creator clan. Tianyin turned and flew inside, ignoring the evil emperor. The evil emperor watched him fly inside and sneered. Don't worry. After they're captured, I'll lock you up together with them. Is that so? I'm looking forward to it. Before Tianyin entered, he turned and smiled at the evil emperor before disappearing inside. He was intentionally misleading the evil emperor into thinking that the Heaven Creator clan was still trapped inside. This way, he wouldn't chase after them immediately. The two batches of the evil deity army were troublesome enough. If the evil emperor was included, it would be even more troublesome. Don't worry, you'll be looking forward to it. The evil emperor turned and was about to fly away to check on the situation when Tianyin suddenly popped his head out. Evil emperor, you big idiot. Come in and catch me if you can. Tianyin shouted. The evil emperor, who was about to check on the situation, paused. He turned to look at Tianyin and said coldly, Do you think you can escape after I've strengthened this barrier? I'll settle the score with you after I catch them. Chapter 1694. If you have the guts, don't leave. Come and fight with me. Tianyin flew out. He didn't want evil emperor to leave. If he chased after the evil god army, he was afraid that something bad would happen. Humph, with your cultivation, I can kill you in a minute, evil emperor said disdainfully. When you left the god territory, you were just a piece of trash. Then he flew up and chased after them. He didn't want to stay here any longer. In his opinion, it was impossible for Tianyin to escape. So, he had to chase after those who were running away. It seems that I have to break the shield to attract his attention. Tianyin frowned. He moved his attention back to the barrier, and then began to break it. The result was the same as before. During the process of breaking, many stones and lightning bolts came at him, constantly interfering with his breaking of the formation. Full strength. Tianyin's eyes flashed. He used all his strength. When stones came at him, he kicked them to pieces. When lightning bolts came, he used his strong body to resist them. His hands kept pointing at the void, breaking the shield at a very fast speed. If the evil emperor didn't come back, he would really be able to break out of this place. Then, he would be able to escape. On the other hand, he wanted evil emperor to stay. After all, the Fecta region master and the others hadn't gone far. Although he knew that the Fecta region master had all kinds of treasures, evil emperor wasn't someone to be trifled with. He must have a lot of treasures. If they really clashed head-on, it would not be so easy to deal with. The Sword Edge region master and the others were strong, but the evil god army wasn't weak either. After breaking several formation eyes, cracks began to appear on the shield. It was obvious that if he continued like this, he would be able to break it. However, as soon as the crack appeared, the crack on the barrier quickly healed again. It was quite fast. Then, evil emperor's angry face appeared in front of him. He glared at him and said, I didn't expect you to be a good divine carver master. Not long after he left, he sensed that the shield was slightly damaged. So, he came back quickly. This area was within his sensing range, so he would know immediately if there was even the slightest movement. This was also the reason why he felt at ease when he left. But not long after he left, Tianyin tore open a small crack, allowing him to quickly return. When he saw evil emperor return, Tianyin thought that he might not be able to tear it apart, so he snuck out. I think it's just SOSO. What? You're not going to keep chasing? Tianyin looked at evil emperor mockingly. I think I should suppress you first. Evil Emperor waved his hand, and the barrier around him stopped moving. Then it gradually disappeared. Tianyun watched in shock as the shield faded away. He had never imagined that the vile emperor would need to put it away before entering. No wonder the evil emperor hadn't charged in to suppress him. It turned out that he had to first close the barrier before he could enter. This kind of protection seemed to be a bit of a scam. It was no wonder that he had sent so many experts over. It was an all-around blockade. Who knew that by the time he arrived, he had already slipped away? Seems like this is my chance. Tianyun's eyes narrowed. He had thought that he would have to fight, or self-destruct and play dead. Now, it seemed like there was no need for that. He just needed to find an opportunity to use the teleportation godstone. Then, he quickly flew inside and hid beside the door. He held the teleportation godstone tightly in his hand, ready to escape. Once the barrier was gone, he would immediately use the teleportation godstone. Let's see where you can run this time. Evil Emperor's eyes were cold. He stared at Tianyun, who was hiding in the corner, and said coldly, "There's no point in hiding." Evil Emperor stretched out his hand to grab Tianyun. He wanted to completely seal off Tianyun's escape route. But it was too late. When the barrier was completely sealed, Tianyun had already used the teleportation godstone. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared without a trace. The huge void hand ruthlessly slammed into the rubble, and with a boom, countless rubble was smashed into powder. What's going on? Is he hiding inside? Evil Emperor found that his attack had failed. Tianyun was not in the area he had been in. He frowned and quickly chased after him. When he entered, he found that all the doors had been destroyed. His heart sank. He quickly flew inside. When he saw the situation inside, his mood instantly plummeted. How? How is this possible? There are so many doors and so many seals. Even a 9th-grade god inscription master can't destroy them so quickly. I haven't been here for long. Evil Emperor was about to go crazy. He flew inside and circled around. He found that all the god seals had been destroyed. Some of them had been destroyed by brute force, but most of them had been destroyed by normal means. No matter how they had been destroyed, he only needed to know that they had all been destroyed. All of them had been destroyed. Not a single heaven creator was left. They had all disappeared without a trace. He was dumbfounded. He had come at a leisurely pace because he was very confident in his defenses. There were a total of 14 doors and all sorts of small seals. Even if he were to destroy them, he would need a very long time, let alone coming over. Even if he flew over slowly, the other party would not be able to destroy them all. In reality, Evil Emperor had not been very slow. The total time he had taken was not more than half a day. This was including the time he had spent gathering the evil god army. He had probably taken less than a few hours to get here. He could not have left the heaven creators too far away. Hence, it would not have taken him a long time to get here. Who knew that things would still happen? All the heaven creators had been rescued. Not a single one was left. Apart from that, Tianyun was nowhere to be seen. He had hidden somewhere. Where are you hiding? Is there any concealment technique in this world that I can't recognize? Evil Emperor frantically attacked in all directions. Pitch-black palm prints covered the area in front of him. The surroundings were charred black. But no matter how he attacked, it was useless. Tianyun naturally did not hide here. He had already used the teleportation divine stone to leave. After he attacked every corner, Evil Emperor completely understood. Tianyun had escaped. He was not here. He did not know what method Tianyun had used to escape so silently. But it was a fact that he had escaped right under his nose. He must have been taken away by those people. No wonder that brat kept trying to hold me back. Evil Emperor's gaze turned cold. He quickly turned and chased after him. He flew as fast as he could. Chapter 1695. Tianyun didn't teleport back to the Three Realms God domain, but to the God domain outside of the Heaven Creator race. Before he came, he had already set up the corresponding coordinates. He wasn't in a hurry to return because he wanted to check on the Fekta Domain Lord and the others. Did they need his help? He He was originally trapped, but now he was the most relaxed. It wasn't his style to leave immediately. No matter what, he had to confirm that the Fecta Domain Lord and the others had successfully escaped. That was the most important thing. When he went outside, he quickly concealed himself in the void. He was very confident in his 5 Dragon Divine movement boots. As long as the evil emperor wasn't too close to him, he wouldn't be able to detect him. He quickly circled around to see if the Fecta Domain Lord and the others were still nearby. After circling around, he didn't find them in this area. This made him heave a sigh of relief. Looks like they've successfully escaped. Etienne nodded. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly felt a fluctuation coming from in front of him. When he looked up, he saw that it was the Fecta Domain Lord's spirit ship that was speeding towards him. Behind the Fecta Domain Ruler's spirit ship, there was a giant diabolical god hot on its heels. The other giant diabolical god had already been destroyed and turned into scattered diabolical spirit race beings that chased after them. However, their speed was much slower than the giant diabolical god. They still caught up? Etienne's heart sank. However, he quickly flew over to help them. The Fecta Domain Lord Spirit ship was flying towards the Heaven Creator God Domain's territory. This made him puzzled. Even if they caught up, they shouldn't be flying in that direction, right? Could they have turned back to save me? Etienne couldn't help but speculate. If this was really the case, he would be very touched. Then, he didn't think too much about it. He quickly flew over and intercepted the spirit ship. Fecta Domain Lord, it's me. Etienne's sudden appearance at the side of the spirit ship caused the Fecta Domain Ruler, who was controlling the ship, to be startled. But he reacted just as quickly and directly sucked Etienne into the spirit ship. Etienne Domain Lord, you're not trapped in there? The Fecta Domain Lord and the others looked at Etienne in shock. Etienne smiled and said, I didn't expect the barrier to have such a big hole. If the evil emperor wants to come in and capture me, he'll have to activate the barrier. That way, I would be able to use a secret technique to slip away. I didn't expect to run into you guys. What's going on? He quickly noticed the situation here. Among the several region lords, one person was missing. That person was Region Lord Yuelong. Region Lord Yuelong was not here. This meant that it was very likely that he had escaped. The Sky Creators have already been taken away by Region Lord Yuelong. When they catch up to us, we will fight it out with them and then secretly let Region Lord Yuelong escape. Now, we are rushing back to rescue you. I didn't expect you to escape already. This is really unexpected. They looked at Etienne with surprise. Originally, they felt a bit guilty when they escaped. However, after settling down, they immediately returned. This made Etienne feel very touched. It seemed that they were very reliable allies. They would not leave anyone behind. I can only say that the evil emperor's arrangements are a bit inappropriate. Let's not talk about this. Let's take this opportunity to escape. The evil emperor is about to catch up. The evil emperor should know that we have rescued the Sky Creators. When that time comes, he will definitely kill us. Etienne said in a low voice. Good. Let's escape with all our strength now. The Fecta Domain Lord nodded. He immediately increased the power of the transparent spirit ship to the maximum. Then, he quickly fled outside. You are here, and you still want to leave? The evil emperor's angry roar enveloped the world. At some unknown time, the evil emperor had fused with the evil god army. He had transformed into an incomparably huge evil spirits. However, the face of this evil spirits was his own face. Since he was the leader, his appearance was naturally based on him. He was originally a heaven-defying heavenly god. Now that he had fused with the incomparably huge evil spirits, his power was at its peak. He waved his hand and grabbed at them. The huge pressure made the faces of the Domain Lords darken. Even the Sword-Edge Domain Lord, who was also a late-stage upper celestial god, felt the immense pressure. It had to be said that the evil emperor was really too strong. Sword-Edge Domain, Cloud-Piercing Void. The two tyrannical domain lords immediately used their strongest techniques to clash head-on with the evil emperor. Boom! The two tyrannical attacks collided with the evil emperor's attack. An earth-shattering energy explosion occurred. A moment later, the huge void hand grabbed their attacks and pulled them to the side, shattering them into pieces. You dare trespass on my territory with just this bit of power? Return the heaven creators to me. The evil emperor stretched out his hand and continued to grab at them. With the power of the evil god army, his power had increased greatly. It was no wonder that he had brought so many evil god army soldiers. It turned out that he had prepared them to cooperate with him. He didn't want them to act alone. If they worked together, the evil emperor's power would increase greatly. He could even break the joint attack of the two domain lords. This level of power was really frightening. The evil emperor and the evil god army are too strong. Let's hurry and retreat. The Cloudpiercer domain lord and the others didn't stop attacking. They erupted with their power again. The Fecta domain lord kept activating the Fecta divine fan and deducing the next step of the plan. Tianyun could only watch in the face of this power. The great array controlled by the evil emperor might be the true evil spirits. 1 against 2, but he wasn't at a disadvantage. He smashed them to pieces with a single palm strike. No wonder they didn't want to face the evil emperor. This power was too abnormal. The Fecta domain lord steered the spirit ship and quickly dodged the evil emperor's attack. With the help of the Fecta divine fan, he could just barely deduce the next step of the plan. However, that was all. The evil emperor's cultivation was too high. He couldn't deduce too much. At most, he could only use it to dodge. After dodging several times, the evil emperor was still in hot pursuit. The interference of the two domain lords was quite limited. They couldn't stop the evil emperor's pursuit. If this continued, they wouldn't be able to escape easily. They would only be chased until they died. The evil emperor couldn't let them go. The sky creators had been captured. He couldn't let them go no matter what. In terms of endurance, the evil emperor was undoubtedly superior. With so many heavenly gods supporting him, the Fecta domain lord side would definitely be the first to collapse. Fecta domain lord, is there no way to escape? The Sorepoint domain lord kept resisting. He couldn't help but complain in the face of the evil emperor's powerful pressure. They had now witnessed the evil emperor's true power. It was too terrifying. Moreover, it didn't seem like the evil emperor's ultimate power. Chapter 1696. The Fecta domain master and the others were anxious. If they continued to resist like this, it would only become more and more dangerous. Even if they could delay for some time, it wasn't a solution unless they escaped to a place where they could resist the evil sovereign. But they didn't have much time to prepare. If they dragged the evil sovereign into their own forces, wouldn't they be finished? This was the fusion of so many Empyrean divinities. Even if they were scattered, they could suppress many influences. Moreover, they would be finished before they even reached their own forces. I have an idea, but I'm afraid we have to abandon this spirit ship, Tianyun said solemnly. It's just a spirit ship. It's fine. When the time comes, we can detonate it as long as we can escape. The Fecta domain master was domineering. In truth, even if they were poor, they were willing to pay this price as long as they could escape. After all, if they lost their lives, what use would this spirit ship have? That's fine. Cloudpiercer domain master and Sword Edge domain master, hide in my space. Tianyun indicated for them to hide in his living ring. They didn't think much of it and immediately hid inside. They didn't doubt Tianyun's words at all. In particular, Cloudpiercer domain master. Before, he didn't trust Tianyun, but now he viewed Tianyun as his own brother. In battle, he could even trust his back to him. Following that, Tianyun looked at the Fecta domain master and said, "Now it's your turn. Come in a bit further away." "No problem. Let's erupt with all our strength." The Fecta domain master chuckled and controlled the spirit ship to erupt with its greatest power. The entire spirit ship's surface bloomed with dazzling white light, and its speed increased by several times. In this situation, it was undoubtedly a state of exhaustion. As this continued, the damage to the spirit ship would become increasingly severe. Eventually, it would truly become a transparent spirit ship. You still want to escape? When the evil sovereign saw the spirit ship erupt with its greatest speed, he thought they were making a final struggle, and also increased his speed to catch up. However, the Fecta Domain Lord's speed of control was undoubtedly a little faster. The Fecta Protectorate Lord immediately entered Etianyun's living space. Etianyun also immediately used the teleportation godstone and disappeared on the spot. At this time, the spirit ship continued to rapidly fly forwards. After flying for some distance, it began to slow down. Then, it started shining with red light, and when Evil Emperor got close to it, it suddenly exploded and turned into a powerful bomb. Boom! A violent explosion spread out, and even Evil Emperor was forced back a distance. The entire alliance formation nearly fell apart. Self-destruct? Evil Emperor was stunned. Even if he could not escape, there was no need for him to do this, right? If he chose to self-destruct, wouldn't the domain master inside be injured? After the explosion dispersed, not even a shadow could be seen, let alone a corpse. There was nothing in front of them. Where is he? Evil Emperor rushed over and looked around. Forget about seeing anyone. He didn't even have any presence. He stared at this side. If anyone escaped, he would definitely know. But he couldn't sense the slightest aura, not even a trace of aura, which made him completely dumbfounded. So many domain masters had disappeared just like how Etianyun had disappeared in front of him. Did they all use some mysterious secret technique to escape? Evil Emperor's expression was extremely ugly. Not a single domain master was left alive, and the Sky Creators had been rescued. This made him want to die. Previously, Huan Mingyue had been captured, and now the Sky Creators were gone. How was he supposed to play? The 5 Great Blacklists. They really are the 5 Great Blacklists. Evil Emperor clenched his fists, and his eyes were extremely cold. I didn't want to act so soon. Are you forcing me to act now? The reason why they weren't in a hurry to act was definitely because they had slowly made arrangements and made a foolproof plan. Especially a bunch of old farts. They didn't know where they were hiding, and that was what they were most afraid of. If it was just the strength on the surface, they would have long since killed their way over. They wanted to find the evil spirits and resurrect the evil spirits before killing their way over. They didn't want to repeat the same mistake. The taste of failure wasn't pleasant. Hence, they still didn't choose to act against the seemingly powerful factions. They had too many things to worry about. Evil Emperor stood where he was for a while and finally shook his head. Fortunately, we don't really need them anymore. Although it messed up the plan a little, it's still acceptable. I'll let you live a little longer. When the time comes, I'll let you know that no matter where you hide, it's meaningless. Evil Emperor finally left with his subordinates. They had returned without any achievements, and they had definitely suffered a setback. In another region, Etianyun escaped with them to another region, and then let them out. Originally, he could have brought them back to Yuelong's celestial domain to wait, but after thinking about it, he decided to take a look around first. Perhaps they had arranged for Yuelong, celestial domain master, to hide somewhere. We've successfully escaped, Etianyun said. That's true. We escaped so easily. This region seems to be quite far away. I wonder what kind of mystical secret technique this is. It must have consumed a lot of energy, right? Even a normal escape talisman wouldn't be able to escape so easily. Fecta Domain Master was very interested in this, and he didn't know what kind of treasure Etianyun had used. Etianyun said with a smile, "Indeed, it consumed a lot of energy. It's a secret technique used to save one's life. Although it consumed a lot of energy, it's still acceptable for us to escape." "Thank you, Tianyin Domain Master. We were able to escape so easily." Cloud-piercing Domain Master and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they had Etianyun with them, or else they would have been dead. Yes, it's true that Tianyin Domain Master can create miracles easily, and it seems that it's true. Sword Edge Domain Master laughed. He had always been very interested in Etianyun, and now it seemed that he was really interesting and magical. He had a special secret technique that allowed them to escape easily. Although they didn't know what kind of secret technique he used, They thought that it must have consumed a lot of energy. It's just this OSO. By the way, where is Yuelong, Celestial Domain Master? Did she go back? Or is she hiding somewhere? Tianyin asked. Yes, she is hiding. Let's go find her now. Sure enough, as Tianyin thought, Yuelong Celestial Domain Master was still hiding, and she didn't directly run back to Yuelong Celestial Domain. In fact, hiding was the safest way to escape because if they ran around, they would be easily discovered. Of course, the premise was to find a good place to hide. If they were too obvious, it would be tantamount to suicide. Chapter 1697. After finding Regent Lord Yuelong, they left and headed towards the Three Realms Divine Realm. After some consideration, they decided that it would be safest for the Heaven Creators to hide in the Three Realms Divine Realm. The Three Realms Divine Realm was protected by a barrier. The Fecta Divine Realm was very safe and mysterious, but it was not invincible. They would find them one day, especially since the Heaven Creators were so important. If they were placed in the Fecta Divine Realm, it might attract more trouble. Hence, choosing to hide in the Three Realms Divine Realm was the best outcome. The Fecta Domain Lord quickly took out a spirit ship and continued to fly towards the Three Realms Divine Realm. It had to be said that the Fecta Domain Lord had too many treasures. The spirit ship he took out was not inferior to the previous one. Following that, Regent Lord Yuelong released all the Heaven Creators to let them take a breather. Then, he told them about their successful escape. The Heaven Creators were extremely grateful when they found out. They had no objections to the arrangement to hide in the Three Realms Divine Realm. As long as they could hide, they would be eternally grateful. It wasn't that they were afraid of death. Rather, they wanted to hide and recuperate for a period of time before ruthlessly retaliating. Tianyin naturally had no objections. Nothing could be better than staying in the Three Realms Divine Realm. Since they were living under someone else's roof, they would definitely pass on some benefits. Perhaps they could even help build something. When that happened, wouldn't his forces increase? Thank you, young friend, for your rescue. Our clansmen don't know how to thank you. Our current situation is quite bad. We can't afford to pay you anything. One of the older elders stood up. He was called Elder Lientian. As their representative, he thanked Tianyin. That's too much. If the Heaven Creators hadn't built the crystal barrier, our world would have fallen long ago, Tianyin said with a smile. The crystal barrier wasn't built by the Heaven Creators. We had the help of a powerhouse. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to build it. Elder Lientian shook his head. The crystal barrier wasn't built by the Heaven Creators? Rumor has it that you were the ones who created it. The Fecta Domain Lord and the others were very puzzled. That was the rumor. No, we didn't actually build it. According to the records, a God Emperor built it with us. Elder Ripple, Heaven revealed an explosive piece of information. What? The God Emperor was built on the same block? They were all shocked. Didn't they say that no God Emperor has ever appeared? Of course, it's impossible for them not to have appeared. If they hadn't appeared, who would know that there would be a God Emperor later on? It's just that it's been a long time since a God Emperor has appeared, so people mistakenly believe that there is no God Emperor. Elder Lientian said solemnly. However, this is all recorded in the records. We don't know exactly what it is. Our duty is to maintain the operation of the crystal barrier, but as time passes, even the most perfect defense is still a defense. Cracks continued to appear, and the evil spirit race continued to invade. In the end, we were the first to bear the brunt and were completely captured. The glory of a long time ago. Everything is gone. Elder Lientian sighed. He couldn't help but sigh. However, they were shocked. So the crystal barrier was built with the help of the God Emperor, or rather, the God Emperor had created it. After it was protected, no one knew where it went. In that case, do you still have other clansmen outside? The Fecta Domain Lord asked. Yes, there are still some, but we don't know where they are hiding. However, there are many of them, not too many. After all, before we were captured, we only had less than 1,000 clansmen left. Many of them were killed by the evil spirit race, a small number escaped, and the rest were captured. There were less than 100 heaven creators in front of them now, and it was indeed very tragic. It could be said that they were quite rare. If they all died, then there would really be nothing left. Then what are your plans now? Etienne stood up and asked. It's a very simple plan. We will continue to fulfill our duty, which is to protect the crystal barrier. Then we will exterminate the evil spirit race. We must exterminate the evil spirit race at all costs. Elder Leontien's eyes were filled with murderous intent. The evil spirit race had exterminated their race. How could they not be filled with murderous intent? However, we will have to trouble you now, young friend. However, we will not stay at your place for nothing. We will teach you what we can. If possible, we can choose a portion of them to cultivate as disciples. I wonder if you will allow this? Elder Leontien's tone was sincere. They did not want their abilities to be lost. However, it was only limited to a portion. There were some core abilities that they could not impart even if they wanted to. Of course, you are very welcome. As long as they all agree, there will be no problem. Etienne was overjoyed. He really liked this outcome. Thank you, young friend. If they don't agree, we will not accept them as disciples. Elder Leontien smiled, then turned his gaze to the Fecta Domain Lord. Friend, I can feel the aura of our race in your body. It seems like your parents are related to our race. Yes, my mother is from the Heaven Creator's race. The Fecta Domain Lord answered truthfully. Then, what's the situation? My mother has already been killed by the evil spirit race. My father died in the battle between the god emperors. The Fecta Domain Lord maintained a calm expression, but Etienne could sense the anger in his heart. He looked calm, but when he attacked, he was more ruthless than anyone else. Otherwise, he would not have been blacklisted. I am very sorry. I just wanted to see the other members of our race. Elder Leontien was very embarrassed. He did not expect to be asked such a sad question. It's all right, we all feel the same way, the Fecta Domain Lord said. Elder Leontien nodded and looked at them. We have been imprisoned for a long time and have not been able to see the light of day. They have also kidnapped many of our race members and forcibly controlled us. Although it is very difficult to control us, it does not mean that we are not controlled. There will always be a portion of our race members who have been forcibly controlled. In the years that we have been imprisoned, the only thing we know is that the evil spirit race is extremely powerful. They are much more powerful than the ones who invaded us a long time ago. We do not know what they are plotting now, so you must be careful. They have been imprisoned, so the information they knew was very limited. They could only warn the Fecta Domain Lord with these few sentences. Indeed, the evil emperor is very powerful, and he has many heavenly gods under his command. However, they are not in a hurry to act. Perhaps they are afraid of some hidden experts, but I think they have some other plans, the Fecta Domain Lord guessed. Yes, we think so too. We have destroyed countless evil spirit race branches over and over again, but they have not sent out a large number of experts. How strange! Chapter 1698. They were not sure what the evil emperor would do. Unless they infiltrated to understand, they would not know. Etienne had the chance to investigate deeper, but he had already been seen through, so he could not use the evil spirit puppet. As for changing his appearance, that was a good idea. As an evil spirit puppet, he could change anything he wanted, and he did not have to worry about any problems. However, if he changed it, he would have to start from scratch. He had climbed to a certain position with great difficulty, but he had to give it up. It could only be said that he had no choice. He could either give up on the fantasy moon or choose the evil spirit puppet. Etienne thought about it. It was undoubtedly more important to choose the fantasy moon. This was similar to the current heaven-creating race. If he saved the heaven-creating race and snatched the fantasy moon, their support would basically be cut off. He could only wait for the crack to appear, so that he could continue to receive strong support. However, without the help of the heaven-creating race or the fantasy moon, the evil spirit race powerhouses would not be able to come over. Those who could come over easily were the weaker evil spirit race, so there would not be many powerful evil spirit race powerhouses coming over. This way, there would not be any powerhouses that could make up for the number of powerhouses that the evil spirit race had killed. No one knows what the evil emperor is doing. However, it seems that it is necessary for us to gather and form an alliance. Etianyan suggested, I have always formed an alliance with many divine territories. Currently, most of the forces in the divine territories are in a state of disunity. It is mainly because of mutual distrust and the infiltration of the evil spirit race, which has led to some hostility between us. However, I can help you solve this. I can find out if there are any evil spirit race hiding in your territory. I only hope that everyone can form an alliance and form the largest force. Only by uniting can we resist the evil emperor's fierce attack. Etienne's tone was firm. He felt that only by forming an alliance could they deal with the evil spirit race. When he saw the two evil god armies, he knew how weak a single force was against the evil spirit race. If it wasn't for the fact that the evil emperor was plotting something or was afraid of something, the factions would have been destroyed one by one, and they would have been easily destroyed. On the surface, there were 30 heavenly gods in the two evil god armies, and that did not include those that had not been exposed. They weren't present at the previous banquet. Etianyan did not know how many powerful martial artists evil emperor had cultivated, but if they did not work together to fight against him, they would definitely die. Once the heretical emperor no longer feared anything, it would be the day they perished. Your aura really reminds me of the divine spirit race from a long time ago. The divine spirit race has this kind of spirit, but that powerful leader gathered us together. Elder Lien Tian's eyes flickered as he recalled a battlefield from a long time ago. He had seen the leader of the divine spirit race commanding them in battle. I agree with Lord Tianyan on this point. Our Yuelong celestial realm has already formed an alliance with the three-realm celestial realm. Lord Tianyan can also help us discover the hidden traitor of the evil spirit race. If we don't work together, we won't be able to deal with the evil emperor. Regent Lord Yuelong's expression was solemn. Our affected divine realm has already formed an alliance with the heavenly cloud divine realm. Our Jianfeng God domain has just formed an alliance. The fact that 3 celestial realms had formed an alliance with Etianyan surprised the cloud-piercing realm lord, but it was reasonable. Then I will also choose to form an alliance with you. I think there will be many benefits if we can form an alliance with the heavenly cloud divine realm, the cloud-piercing realm lord said with a smile. After witnessing Etianyan's strength, he decided to form an alliance with him. I am very honored that everyone is willing to form an alliance with my forces. However, I am afraid that just a few of us are not enough. Etianyan looked at them and said solemnly, after all, the evil emperor is too powerful. We only have a few forces, but there are more than a dozen forces in the 3 realms, and none of them are weak. If we can work together, we might have a chance of winning. Lord Tianyan, you mean a foreign alliance? Affected Domain Lord asked. Yes, just like Elderly and Tian said, we should lead all the forces to resist the evil emperor like the leader of the divine spirit race. Otherwise, facing the evil emperor's terrifying power, we will still be defeated. Etianyan said solemnly. I know that it will be difficult to form an alliance, but we still have to give it a try. As for the spies, I will investigate them one by one and find all the evil spirit race members. In this regard, I am sure that no one can surpass me. I can testify to this. The heavenly cloud divine realm lord can sense the aura of the evil spirit race, no matter how subtle it is. There are many spies in our Yuelong celestial realm. If it weren't for the heavenly cloud divine realm lord, we wouldn't have been able to find them, Yuelong domain lord testified. The cloud-piercing realm lord and the others nodded at each other. They believed in Yuelong domain lord's words. Of course, they had all seen Etianyan's strength, so they didn't think that he was lying. This is feasible, but it is a bit difficult. However, if we don't do this, we will be easily defeated by the evil emperor alone, the affected domain lord said with a smile. I agree with this point. I have thought about it before, but there has been no leader, so it is not easy to carry out the plan. Now that we have a leader, it will be much easier to carry out the plan. Leader? Etianyan turned to look at them and asked in puzzlement, who will be the leader? The domain lords looked at each other and smiled. Then they all looked at him. The meaning in their eyes was self-evident. I am the leader? Etienne was stunned, and then he said awkwardly, don't joke about this. My cultivation is much weaker than all of you, and my forces are also much weaker. How can I be the leader? Isn't this a joke? Or I don't believe in the masses at all. Indeed, in terms of forces and cultivation, you are not as strong as us. However, the territory you are in and the conditions you have can make you the leader. The Fecta domain lord pointed at him and said, being the heir of the divine spirit race is one of the reasons. Also, saving the sky creator race is basically your credit. Also, being the guardian of the evil spirit's pearl is another reason. Our support is another reason. With so many reasons, who can refuse? The Fecta domain lord didn't hesitate to say that Etienne was the guardian of the evil spirit's pearl in front of them. It was possible that they already knew that the Fecta domain lord was the guardian of the evil spirit's pearl. Then, they were extremely trustworthy people, so they naturally told the truth. That is true, but my cultivation is too weak. I don't think it is suitable. It might be better to let the Fecta domain lord be the leader. Etienne recommended the Fecta domain lord for this position. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.